All right, and I think we are live on the YouTubes. What's up, YouTube?
YouTubes, hit the button.
Hit the button, they say, Mosh.
Where am I at? What am I doing?
What? I don't know. I gotta find where's the button. I don't even know where the button is anymore. There it is.
Raider! Oakland, LA, Oakland, Vegas, Raider Nation, wherever, forever. You got your old Uncle Mosh and Raiders Fan Radio from Murph's Fan Cave, taking a lighter journey into the dark side. Sit back, put your feet up, pop a top, and enjoy the ride. Here we go!
Look left, look right, Biletnikoff, a leaking shot, touchdown!
We miss you, we love you, and we'll see you in the Hall of Fame.
When you have great coaches, then after you have great coaches, you get great players, you have a great organization, and you tell them one thing, just win, baby.
Way up the middle, intercepted Piano at the 50, time running down, Oakland football, and I think Oakland victory.
The Oakland Raiders have scored on the most zany, unbelievable, absolutely impossible dream of a play.
Well, I love this team. I think this team can win. I think this team can win.
What is up, Raider Nation? It's your old buddy Murph back once again for what we hope to be a fabulous episode. Or fabulous, where'd that come from?
What is that? Stop it. Start all over again. Hit the button. Start again.
All right, what is up, Raider Nation? It's your old buddy Murph. I'm trying not to say old too. What's up, Raider Nation? It's your buddy Murph back once again for another what we hope to be fantastic episode of Raiders Fan Radio. That's right, back here in Murph's Fan Cave for episode number 130 of Raiders Fan Radio. And we appreciate all of you tuning in to the episode. As always, thank you to the chat room for those of you that are joining us live on youtube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. Raider Homer's in there, Coach Davis, Raiders One Nation, Chris Potts, Coach Davis, Kevin the Raider Nerd's in there, Ron Stratton, the Mater Raider is in there, Uncle Mosh, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Sean Grogan,
Good for them.
Jesse hold on, Jesse Rosales. Anyways, appreciate Monster Mash Ken's in there. Appreciate all of you checking us out as always in the chat room. And so the man that's having technical difficulties,
As always.
the man that that adorns the Southern Annex. But you know what, Swag Jeff and I realized this week, it's actually not the Southern Annex. It's actually the Western Annex of the Murph's Fan Cave desk.
Really?
Welcome to the show, the one and only Uncle Mosh.
Wow. I'm bothered by the fact that it took Swag Jeff to figure that out.
Well,
He
Swag,
doesn't have a compass.
well, he was looking at it and he was like, I'm facing north right now, and if he's on the left, then that's the west, because he wants to adorn the Southern Annex.
Not a
Because
chance.
We're putting a new spot in for old Swag Jeff. We're going to talk about that here in just a few minutes, but yeah, he's going to have a new spot here on the other end of the desk, and so he's going to be the Southern Annex, and you'll be the Western Annex.
Okay, I can live with that.
I like the Western
I
Annex.
can live with that.
You're a West Coast guy. I'm not anymore, but I mean, you
no,
were.
but it's
Your
all
origins.
about manifest destiny. Go west, young man. Go ahead. I can throw some history at you.
Your origin story is in the West, so you'll be the West.
I wish my YouTube story was right now.
What's the matter? So you're having trouble on YouTube.
I'm not on.
All right,
The story of my life.
All right, when we get to the contact info, I'll come over there. You ever remember that Jimmy Fallon on Saturday Night Live when he was he's Nick Burns, your company's computer guy.
Yeah.
And he would just go over and go, move, and then like go in and fix the computer. That's me. I just tell Uncle Mosh, get out of the way. Let me take care of this. But anyways, so welcome to episode number 130. Appreciate all of you joining us here in Murph's Fan Cave. And so a few things for you listening to us as far as the audio versions go. You can always find all of our shows, which is this one, the flagship show, Raiders Fan Radio. That is Mondays with Mikey and Murph. That is the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead, Tom, and Fitz, and sometimes Potts, who's in there in the chat room. And those guys do a great job over there on that show. And also a new show, which we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Anyways, you can find all the Murph's Fan Cave shows at murphsfancave.com, and you can subscribe to them there via your favorite podcast service. And then, as I mentioned, the YouTube, the visual version of Raiders Fan Radio, which is the best version because it involves the interaction with the chat, and the chat is funnier than we are. They know more about football than we do. They are great, and so they are our brain trust, and a great group of folks and a great community in there. So if you can, join us live on the YouTube every week. So to support all that, Mosh, we asked for just a couple of things in return. And it's really so we can help be, what do you call it, benefactors? We can
well, the people that we want to share the wealth with.
There you go. So we asked in return, go to RaidersFanRadio.com/t-shirts and buy a t-shirt. I'm going to go to your cam, Uncle Mosh, and you see the Get Made t-shirt over your right shoulder. Did I get it right this time?
You did.
Okay, over your right shoulder there, you see the Get Made t-shirt. You can get those for $20 or $25, depending on what size you are. We do have big boy sizes. Please order one of those shirts. We will ship it to you, and all of the proceeds, 100% of the proceeds, are getting donated to the Biletnikoff Foundation. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute as well. And if you don't want to buy a t-shirt, or you've already bought a t-shirt and you just want some Raider gear, you want a cool New Era hat like what I have, or you want whatever, any like Uncle Mosh has got his Carhartt hat on there, any other Raiders gear, any official Raiders gear, you can go to RaidersFanRadio.com/gear, GEAR, and all you got to do there is hit the link, and that link will take you to NFLshop.com, and then buy all the stuff you're going to buy, and it doesn't cost you anything extra, but NFLshop.com kicks us back a couple bucks on the purchases, and again, all of the money, 100% of the money, is all getting donated to the Biletnikoff Foundation. You see I'm rocking my Great Lakes Raiders Booster Club shirt today, Uncle Mosh, featuring Fred Biletnikoff on there, and I just traded emails today with Miss Angela Biletnikoff, and we are well on our way. We got about $400, Mosh.
That's awesome.
What is that? I don't do math, but that's 20%.
That's
right?
20%. Yeah,
that's 20% of 2,000.
We were shooting for 2,000. Yeah,
shooting for $2,000, and we're almost, well, not almost there, but we're well on our way there. Being that it's freaking May still.
Yeah,
we're well on our way. That's from the T-shirt money. That's from the money from NFLshop.com. Our goal is $2,000, and what we're gonna do is that Mosh and I, we're going to Oakland, or we're going to San Ramon, anyways. We're going to attend the Biletnikoff Crab Fest this year, which is their big fundraising dinner.
Right.
And we're going to present them with one of them big fat lottery checks on behalf of the RFR community, on behalf of everybody in the chat room and everybody that's donated and bought a shirt and bought gear at NFLshop.com. We're going to give that money to them. We're going to present it with them live on behalf of you all. So thank you all so very, very much. And then also, Mosh, while we're out there, we're probably going to catch a Raider game, aren't we?
Hey, we're what? An hour from there. We'd be crazy not to.
We'd be crazy not to.
Yeah.
We'd be crazy not to. So that is probably going to be the Lions game from what it looks like. So that's the game that we're going to be out there in Oakland. I know that some of you are already planning on going to the Bengals game and a handful of others, but I think that's the one that Mosh and I are going to be at. Now, we do have some stuff still kind of moving around, but in terms of the last ride in Oakland for Raiders Fan Radio, it's going to be the game against the Lions on November 3rd. All right, so that's all I got. We got a lot of show to get to tonight, being that we're going every other week. We got tons of stuff stacked up. We're going to talk. If you don't like Derek Carr, you can hit the button now. You can turn us off because this is going to be Derek Carr heavy. You know what? He's our quarterback, and criticism, positivity, whatever it is you got for him, he's still our quarterback, so we're going to treat him as such. We're going to talk a lot about Derek Carr tonight. We're going to talk a lot about OTAs. We're going to get to the Sea of Fans. We're going to talk about the greatest Raiders, most impactful Raiders of all time, and Mosh, shut me up before I get crazy.
All right, boys and girls, pay attention. You got your old Uncle Mosh here with an update. That's right. I got some stuff for you. Take out a piece of paper, a pencil, a pen. Heck, use your pocket knife and carve the info into your dashboard as you're driving down the highway. First off, you need to like us on our fan page on Facebook. That's right. Go to Facebook at Raiders Fan Radio Podcast. Don't forget about the Twitter. You know your old Uncle Mosh, he twits now. That's right. go to @RaidersFanRadio. Also, don't forget the Instagram @RaidersFanRadio. Or what about our website? That's right, RaidersFanRadio.com. Heck, if you want to, you can even email us show@RaidersFanRadio.com or call us on the Raiders Fan Radio hotline, 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Don't forget Merv's Fan Cave on the YouTube, where you can get all the show links like the Fan Club Blitz with Splatterhead and Fitz. Find all our stuff on podcast providers like Stitcher, iTunes, and Google Play. All right, did I hit the time limit? Good.
All right, so here at Raiders Fan Radio, we always celebrate our show number, our episode number, by tying it back into something significant in Raider Nation. Some moments are more significant than others. Sometimes we get something really cool, like a number like 75 or
60.
Or 60, exactly. Or we'll get, a date like 122, which was January 22nd, 1984, when the Raiders won their last Super Bowl. Like, we get lots of different stuff like that. So this week, we're on to a yardage total. But somebody, I'll tell you this, Mosh. So here's my teaser.
Okay.
Somebody in Sea of Fans did it better than I did it.
Really?
Yeah. So the one that I came up with for this week was pretty cool, but somebody hit something even better. And it's very relevant at the end of the show. So stay tuned to see a Fans mailbag, and I'm going to defer most of it to there. But the one I came up with was Raiders-Browns this year, Mosh. You remember that game? That was the crazy finish against the Browns, the ones that the Raiders pulled out. And, Derek Carr, 4 touchdowns in that game. We win the game 45-42 after going into overtime. But Marshawn Lynch in that game had 130 rushing yards. So in terms of rushing performance, he didn't score any touchdowns, but he was dominant in that game, man. Marshawn was on fire. That was a great football game. We didn't have many highlights this last year, but that game against the Browns was definitely one of them. And now after seeing what the Browns are kind of turning into and what they turned into last year, that was a good win.
It was a big win.
Yeah.
And kudos to their quarterback, man. Love that kid,
man. Yale Baker, huh?
Yeah, I love that kid, man.
Baker,
You know,
he's an easy one to root for.
He is an
easy non-Raider to root for.
Yeah. If you got to root for a non-Raider, if something happens in a bye week or something and they're playing,
there you go. Why not? Absolutely.
I'm
All
going to catch a Mayfield game.
All right, so Mosh, something else we do here on Raiders Fan Radio is, there's nothing wrong with props. There's nothing wrong with shout-outs.
Nope.
But what we do is we give respect. And so we're Sicilian.
Give a little respect.
Yeah, we give a little respect. That's how the family does it. And so we want to give respect to this week. I got a lot of respect to give out, Mosh.
Okay.
All right, so first off, I want to give respect to the guys over Behind the Eye Patch. That is our buddies Micah and Tyler. And Behind the Eye Patch is a podcast you can find on any podcast service. They're kind of like most of the podcasts. You can find them anywhere. They do a great job. And I want to give them respect because they invited me back. It's one thing to invite you to join them on a show.
Right.
It's another thing to get invited back. It's like, okay, you know what I mean? Like, all right, so that was cool. So they invited me to come back, and that
means we didn't mess it up too bad.
So I joined them. It was about 6 months ago, I guess. It was right after the Senior Bowl. Not that long ago, then 4 months, whatever it was. And had a great time on the show. A lot of fun talking to those guys. They're great Raider fans, great representatives of Raider Nation. And so really enjoyed spending time talking with them. They invited me back, and same thing. We talked a lot about the draft. I told them all about our draft experience being down there, and had a really good time talking to the Behind the Eye Patch guys. So much respect to Micah and Tyler. All right, a couple more here, Mosh. Next up, Just Win Johnny. Win Johnny, the guy that's famous for saying what, Mosh?
Johnny.
Oh, no. No, he's not famous for saying that. He's not famous for choking on his own spit, falling out of his chair, turning a red face, and making me wonder if I need to call 911, Mosh.
Cut me, Maria.
Jeez.
I'm sorry, man. I've been stifling.
Stifle yourself.
I've been stifling that cough.
Oh, my. Just let it go. I can mute your microphone. Now, this is bad. Now, here we go. This is good entertainment. Is there a Zoom feature on this? I got. No, this is good for ratings, Mosh.
It's because I cut my beard.
You know what's funny? We didn't plan this either. Look, I did too.
Yeah,
we both cut our beard. You'd
cut
think
our beard.
this is like we're on the same cycle. And he cut his hair.
Cut my hair.
Whoops! Oh, I went the wrong camera. There you go. You cut your hair.
Cut my hair.
All your Pete Koch hair is gone.
No.
You got a high and tight now.
So
So, anyways, tell him now, Mosh. What is Just Win Johnny famous for saying here on Raiders Fan Radio?
what is he famous for saying?
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
Hit the button.
No, jeez. I gotta do it. I gotta be in the right frame of mind.
All right.
Ask me again.
All right. Hey, Uncle Mosh.
Yeah, go ahead, man.
So next up is much respect to Just Win Johnny.
Hit the button.
There you go.
Hit the button.
Hit the button. So Johnny's famous for that, but more famous for look. Johnny is in terms of people that are in the community of Raiders fans, and we love how fandom gets expressed in Raider Nation. That could be from the way you do a podcast. That could be your music that people write. It could be for the art that they create. Well, Johnny is an absolute master at creating
so
vector
good.
artwork, and he's done work for a lot of podcasts. Well, we have a new show on the network called Tales from the Nation, and that I'll be doing with Swag Jeff. And we reached out to Johnny and asked him if he would be willing to help us with the artwork. It's up on our socials right now, and you're going to see plenty of it if you subscribe to the network. It is absolutely fantastic. It might be my favorite logo. Well, not might be. It is my favorite logo that we have.
It's amazing.
And there's a big difference between Murph, hammering something out here in the fan cave versus a pro putting his expertise behind it. Mosh, it's amazing. So
yeah, it's going to be a shirt too.
It's for sure. And so thank you to him for not only being willing to put in the time, but thank you for your creativity and your talent, man. It's awesome. And he also is like we are in the fact that the things that he does with his creativity, he gives it away. Like he gives away this work. We didn't commission him. We didn't.
No.
He did it with his own. Put his own time in for this. And then the things that he does, like with his One Nation fanware and the other things, he gives a lot of that money away to the Stabler Foundation, to the XOXO Foundation.
Yeah, absolutely.
So he's definitely, he's like
cream of the crop, man. He's top notch, sure.
Absolutely. So he's like-minded. We are in that he gives it away. And so much respect to you, Johnny. Thank you for your help with our logo. Thank you for all you do for Raider Nation. And please let me know how more I can continue to promote. We can promote you. I know it's One Nation fanware. He's not hard to find. He's all over Instagram and Twitter and everywhere else. Buy one of his jerseys, buy a t-shirt, buy something. Help support this guy because he's doing great work out there for the Raiders in Raider Nation. All right. So Uncle Mosh, kind of a caveat to that. I dropped it there real quick, though, about Swag Jeff. So Jeff and I started this new show. You're going to hear more about that as we go on. But we did record our first episode of Tales from the Nation yesterday. And Jeff did a great job, man. It's going to be a lot of fun. You guys are going to get a kick out of this. I'll get into the details of Tales from the Nation later. But it's going to be really cool. But the last one, Mosh, you want to tell them what the last respect
I'm
is?
so excited about this. Mexico.
Much respect to Mexico.
Much respect to Mexico. Mexico joins Italy, Denmark, the Philippines, Costa Rica, and Romania. Mexico has us listed as one of the top professional podcasts in the entire nation of Mexico.
We hit the charts with our podcast in Mexico.
What number are we?
144.
144.
We are 144 in Mexico. We are the 144th most popular podcast in Mexico.
That's amazing.
Yeah. And you heard those other countries. And so it had kind of been a while since we hit a new country. Like we hit those others like last year, and it had been a little bit. But with our draft coverage and whatnot and all that stuff, we've hit a little bit of a boost in our on our ratings here lately, and so we know we have many new listeners. We get new listeners every week.
Hey,
but
we got a listener tonight. Octavio Arias is from Panama.
There you go.
He's
How
in
cool
the
is
house,
that, man.
That's amazing.
That's the best. Thank you, Octavio. Appreciate that. And so it's really cool, man, that Raiders Fan Radio truly is international, and we appreciate every single one of you in Mexico that are listening to us, and all of you, again, many new listeners to the show. We met so many people at the draft, and not only with our coverage, but just the interaction that we had face-to-face. We just, things kind of shot up for. So anyway, so thank you to all of you for supporting the show in the way that you do. All right, Uncle Mosh, let's kick it off with some Raiders news.
Hey, what's up? It's Brockman from The Rich Eisen Show.
And it's Del Tufo from the Rich Eisen Show.
You're listening to Murph and Mosh on Raiders Fan Radio. Yes!
All right, shout him out, Mosh. I hear you laughing. Usually when Uncle Mosh laughs during a break, it means that somebody in the chat is cracking him up. So go ahead.
Everybody's in there. Chris Potts, Monster Mash, Q-Dog, Eye Patch, Ron. Somebody types in there. Chris writes in there, WTF, is everyone drinking tonight?
Yeah, because we're later than normal. So everyone's home from work, right? Everyone's home and kicking it, man. Everyone's partaking.
So the people are hitting the like button, right? We got, 12, 13 of them hit the likes, and one not like. They must have tuned in right when I was hacking. and I promise, or it could have been me.
Because you've done that. You've downvoted our own show.
I thought it looked weird that everybody liked us.
Yeah. You can't please everyone all the time. All right. What's he saying? You can't please all the people all the time, but you can't. Wait, I don't know.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. Let's move on to the next.
Let's move on to the next segment.
So I mentioned at the top of the show we were going to talk a lot about Derek Carr tonight, and we are. He is our quarterback. Like it or not, this is going to be the leader in every significant passing category.
Okay, stop right there.
Killing me.
I have to kill you.
Okay.
I have to stop you
go.
right there. What did you say you were never going to do?
I said that now wait a minute, that's different. I said that I wasn't going to get on my soapbox about big time media questioning whether Derek Carr was going to be our quarterback. Whether
Stop right
he was.
there.
Well, okay.
What did you do when you guested on the show? When you
On
were
what?
a guest
On Behind the Eye Patch?
On Behind the Eye Patch.
But that was on Behind the Eye Patch. That wasn't on Raiders Fan Radio.
You don't pay tax.
No. Yeah, I don't pay tax. I don't pay tax, and I can bitch about mainstream media on other people's shows. I'm just not going to bitch about mainstream media on our show. That's right, yeah.
Oh, my gosh. That's so funny. Tell them what happened. Go ahead and tell the story.
All right, so I was. It was on the Behind the Eye Patch?
Yeah, what happened?
Yeah, well, we were on Behind the Eye Patch, and it came up, and I went in. It was like, I don't even remember who it was, man. Somebody said something stupid about Derek Carr, and it just lit me up, man. And I'm not going to talk about it. I'm done. Derek Carr is, I'll reset here. Derek Carr is going to be the leader in every significant passing category in the history of your Oakland Raiders. So your football team, the proverbial you that is listening to this show, your favorite football team. And look, you are the hardcorest of the hardcore. If you're watching us on your Wednesday night talk about the Raiders, or you're listening to us while you're mowing your lawn, doing yoga, painting your garage, whatever all the things that people do, listen to this show. If you're seeking Raiders content generated by fans in the middle of Tennessee, you're freaking hardcore, man.
Yeah, man.
You are as hardcore as it gets. And you, the hardcore Raider fan, your quarterback and going to be the most accomplished quarterback in the history of the team is going to be Derek freaking Carr.
One more name.
Gosh dang Carr.
Who?
Derek gonna send to heaven after he wins an MVP one of these days. Derek Carr, that guy is the man. So look, here we're going to talk about him. We've talked about Adam Shine before. Adam Shine is on Mad Dog Radio, which is Sirius XM. He does an amazing show. He is not an apologist by any means, but he is also willing to give the Raiders, and in this case, Derek Carr, a platform to discuss positive things.
Right,
now, he's not afraid to challenge him at times, but he's not a jackass about it. He's not, there's a way.
He understands everybody's going to have a bad game. We're human. People are going to make mistakes. He understands that. You throw a bad ball doesn't mean, he's washed up.
Yeah, or they're going to trade him.
We're, on the way over, Murph, I don't mean to derail your thought, but on the way over tonight, I'm listening to the local radio station, right? And Marcus Mariota is the Titans quarterback. They're having the exact same conversation about Marcus Mariota that they're having, that these mainstream nuts have about Derek Carr. Mariota's a great quarterback.
Didn't the Titans win a playoff game in Kansas City?
Hello.
And when was the last time they won a playoff game before that?
Right.
Long before Marcus Mariota.
Absolutely.
So here's the same thing. And so, like, if it wasn't for Derek Carr breaking his leg, likely the Raiders win a playoff game. And it's odd that him and Mariota did it on the same day, too. But the point being, though, is that, look, I just don't want to freak out about it entirely because, look, there are a lot of other things about this football team to get fired up about, and Carr's not one. So anyways, back to Adam Shine. So Adam Shine, he has a way of bringing up these things that could be negative, but he's not jerky about it. There's a way to bring these things up in an interview to someone and not just be a full-on, I'm trying to avoid the D word here. Just, look, there's a nice way to do it. So anyways, Adam is a great interviewer. He's a great interviewer of DC. This thing is like 19 minutes long. I've got a few clips in here. Let's get to the first one and the first hot topic, right, which has been about Derek Carr and his relationship with John Gruden.
How would you, Derek, characterize your relationship with John Gruden?
Man, we are super close, and it's so, like, you you could only imagine how, what I'm thinking when I read all this stuff about our relationship, or hear about it from friends and stuff. Like it's like where does this even come from? Like this is so funny. Like we're super close. Like we talk literally every day, even on the weekends. Like it's just funny to me. It really is. We're super close, man. We have a great time working together. He challenges me just like my college coaches challenged me. Like there's no difference, and so. I guess when you're losing, as you know, they look for any kind of thing when there's a so-called nice guy at quarterback and someone who likes to yell at the coach. They try and find something, I guess. But we are so good, it's not even funny, man.
I love hearing that, and I'm not surprised by that at all.
All right, Mosh, any breaking news there for you? Right, this is the same stuff we've been hearing for how long?
For how long? Ron brings up something that, I don't know. It cracks me up. This is a much better point to talk about because those other ones are moot at this point.
Okay, fair.
Ron says, is Carr on pace? Because Carr is on pace to be our greatest quarterback ever.
Yeah, like maybe this season he'll break all the records.
So what Ron brings up is Carr on pace to out-impregnate Rivers at this point in his career. And he says,
that's pretty good.
And of course, Kevin Reitzel says, well, yeah, but Rivers will have more kids than he'll have touchdowns this year.
Oh, nice.
But I mean, we might as well talk about that because the rest of that stuff, it's not even worth.
It provides the same consequence, doesn't it?
Seriously.
Somebody famous once said, use the term mental masturbation.
Yeah, no,
you know what I mean? Like, yeah, absolutely.
I want to just tell them all.
Will you stifle yourself?
All right, next up, Adam asked about what good happened in 2018 that Derek Carr can carry over into the 2019 season.
Give us some of those little things that you take from last year that were great that you want to be even better this season.
Oh man, just getting us into the right place. Every time I'm at the line of scrimmage, I have the freedom to change the play and get us in the right one. And that is all based on what Coach Gruden and I have talked about, obviously, and things like that. But there's times in there where, we didn't talk about something for 3 weeks, and then we finally get a look, and we're checking to things, like things that, he drills it so much in my mind. This was 3 game plans ago, which is, in football terms, 3 years ago, basically,
Sure.
And we're checking to things during games and hitting them and things like that. Really, the way that, we were able to take our young guys and elevate their play, and fast track the way they could play and things we had to do there. There's so many good things that came from it. Obviously we didn't win enough games, and that is the ultimate goal. That is the only thing we're not looking for, a participation ribbon. I am firmly against that.
Yeah.
But there still is some things that we did really, really well that, going forward, we can continue to build and continue to add pieces. It's going to be fun.
All right, Mosh, what do you think?
Man, I mean, how many more times can you hear it from the horse's mouth?
Freedom in the offense.
Yeah.
Freedom in the offense. I love that one. That was what the big takeaway was for me there. But yeah, there was a lot of positivity to be taken from.
And that's what Watts Raider was saying in the chat. He's saying, freedom, I told you folks. He said he knows what Chucky's thinking.
Bingo.
Absolutely. Jeez, oh, Pete.
Jeez, oh, Pete. All right, so here's another one. The other one was, The Raiders are going to draft a quarterback. Raiders are going to draft Kyler Murray. Raiders are going to do. Like, how much obnoxious rhetoric was there about that? Well, they talked about that as well.
And let me piggyback off that, because I was pretty adamant all offseason, Derek Carr's the guy. And I almost felt a little foolish as I kept saying it because, it almost felt like Captain Obvious, but you know the reports, you know the conversation, and Gruden had your back.
And by the way, I'm stopping right there to say this. This is how you ask these questions without being a jerk.
Absolutely.
There's a way to do these types of interviews and the way to convey these answers and information. Anyways.
And Mayock had your back. Were you at all concerned about being replaced? Were you concerned that the team was going to draft a quarterback with the 4th overall pick?
Oh, man, about negative 47%. It's funny that, I guess it doesn't happen everywhere and people are shocked by it, but the general manager, the head coach, and the quarterback are all on the same page all the time, whether it's good news or bad news. And, that's how we operate here. And then throw our owner into that. We are all on the same page, literally all the time. And so we talked right when the season ended. We talked a couple weeks after that, obviously the right way and going about it and all that. But we knew exactly what was going on, why some things were happening and all these kind of things. And so to say negative 47% might even be an understatement.
There you go, Mosh. What do you think?
They're on the same page. What else?
This is the one I'm not taking a shot at Mikey when I say this, so please don't take it that way, because I'm referencing a conversation we have had on Mondays with Mikey and Murph, and that is, I would ask him, don't you think these people talk? Like, to take this approach as a fan, and when you hear stories that get put out there by all the pundits, right, all the cowards of the world, to make this assumption that Gruden and Carr have never had these talks in their office, or that Mayock and Gruden, and then Mayock and Carr, or that Mark Davis and Gruden, or Mark Davis and Mike Mayock. Like, to make this assumption that the 4 men in power in charge of this football team, the captain of the team, the coach of the team, the GM of the team, and the owner of the team, to make these assumptions and to make these assessments of the way you think it's going on, and to assume that they're not talking to each other, that is the most ridiculous concept. What do you do at work with your boss, Mosh?
Yeah, exactly.
How often do you have meetings about what it is that you do in your job?
Totally. And what do they think these guys do the rest of the week? Okay,
yeah.
so you practice for however many days. You play a game for however many hours on Sunday. Do you not think that they talk about it? Do you not think that they live football? There's a reason Gruden gets up at 3:30 every morning.
Right.
Right?
Absolutely.
I promise you, they've talked on the phone before 6 a.m.
Oh, absolutely.
Come on.
Absolutely. That's the part that just drives me nuts. Well, I'm not going to get into that part. It doesn't matter about what this stuff does to my brain. It's just an important thing to consider, that they're talking, they're communicating all the time. All right, this is a fun one. We've talked a lot about Josh Jacobs. We're huge fans of the Josh Jacobs pick in this year's draft, and Derek Carr talked about the importance of Josh Jacobs.
How excited were you when you found out that Josh Jacobs was going to be your running back and your teammate?
Voice.
I mean, you want to talk about an ultimate draft pick for you, for the Raiders, for John's offense. I mean, I thought this was absolutely perfect for you guys. Is it fair for me to have Rookie of the Year kind of expectations for this kid in year one?
Oh, that's absolutely fair. I told him, I laughed. I said, hey, whenever you win all these Rookie of the Year or you win all these awards, don't forget who put you in the perfect run looks. And we laughed about it. And had some good times with that. But no, he's a tremendous kid and he's a great talent. But he's more so he's just a great guy. He works his tail off, and you can see he gets along with everybody. It's a perfect fit, like you said, for us. And to go along with Doug, DeAndre, and Jalen, he's absolutely a perfect fit, and it's really, really excited to have him. But when the Eagles traded up before us, I got a little nervous, not going to lie.
Mm-hmm. I think a lot of people thought that was going to be the selection, and then obviously have the ability to make that pick, which I think is going to be great for you and great for the Raiders offense in general, Derek.
All right, Mosh. I mean, he's being touted as a potential Rookie of the Year. he's going to be he's going to get a majority of the action in the offense. He's going to be a focal point. I don't know if any of that is going to come to fruition or not. I will say this. He's going to have plenty of opportunity to be a star in the league in a John Gruden offense with a quarterback who's not afraid to hand the ball off, who's not afraid to check into run looks. Josh Jacobs is going to get tons and tons of opportunity, and he's also a great pass protector. So, I mean, you could hear the excitement in DC's voice, man. I'm all about it.
He's amassing all these weapons that he's never had before, and it's like a kid with at Christmas, you get 1 or 2 toys, and then all of a sudden you get 3 or 4 or 5, and you're like, what am I going to play with first? It's like, holy moly.
Yeah.
It's like I got every Lego set out there. It's crazy. It's crazy.
Well, speaking of that, one of the other new toys that Derek Carr got in his offense was Tyrell Williams. And, man, this one is, if it's possible, this move to sign Tyrell Williams is being way undersold. And it's obvious why, because when you bring on somebody like Antonio Brown, who's the best wide receiver in all of football, it's going to overshadow the other wide receiver that we signed. But Tyrell Williams, man, for those of you that missed it, the year that Keenan Allen was out for the Chargers and Tyrell was the focal point of, at least in the wide receiver core, he caught, I forget how many passes off the top of my head, but it was over 1,000 yards, and the guy can produce, and he can run. He's got great hands. And so anyway, Derek Carr talked about the importance of Tyrell Williams being added to the offense.
How about Trent Brown and Ty Williams? I thought those were tremendous signings. I thought Williams was excellent with the Chargers, not even throwing that word around. I thought that was the most underrated move of the offseason. The money's the money, but Trent Brown, a hell of a player. Yep. What does that mean to the depth at wide receiver for you guys, and also the help up front with Brown on the offensive line?
Yeah, what's funny is, it's always talked about in the offseason. Well, right when you pay somebody, oh, man, they're paying that much to do what? Play right tackle? And it's like, you guys understand in 2 years he won't be the highest paid player.
Right,
right. Like literally probably in 6 months he won't be. Like, it's just, at least you got the guy on your team, right? And to add a talent like that and to add a player like Trent, he's amazing. He's great. He works hard. He gets along with everybody. Tyrell is an excellent receiver. And I'm going to say it with you. That man is a technician. He works his tail off. He is all of 6'4", 6'5", and can fly. Like, he reminds me of Andre Holmes a lot, who was actually here. Really fast, tall, big guy, great body control kind of a thing. And Tyrell, man, he just is a really good route runner. So it's exciting to have him because, we have a lot of different options, from tight end to the 2, 3, 4, 5 new receivers to our running backs. It's going to be fun, man. We got a lot of work to do.
I love how he finished right there. Got a lot of work to do, but
it's gonna be fun.
This is going to be awesome, man. I'm fired. Last year, at the end of last year, I said, that's it. I'm never again going to go into a season with high expectations. That I've thanked the Raiders for relieving me of the burden of going into a season thinking we were going to make the playoffs. I'm like, thank you, Raiders. From now on, I'm going to go in 4-12, 6-10, and just, and if anything else happens, I'll be surprised. But now, dang it, Mosh. I'm thinking 10-6 is on the radar. We could be a wild card team, right? Like all these things going into place. Like, what do you think, man? Trent Brown, like, I don't know. Sounds good.
Some good stuff.
That's good stuff. All right. Well, so much for my expectations. What about Derek Carr's expectations? This is the last clip we have in his interview with Adam Shine.
Why do I believe this Raiders season's going to be different, and it's the Oakland Raiders' time to shine in 2019?
Oh, yeah. Well, I'm never about predictions or anything like that, but the guys that we've added, the schemes that we're running, the people that we already have here, we know what to do and we know how to do it. I'm just going to leave it at that. I'm okay with a little mystery. I'm okay with a little wonder. I'm okay with people just hoping. I'm just going to leave it at that, man, but just know that we're going to be ready to play when it comes time.
Derek, I love it. Congratulations on everything, especially Deacon, third child. Glad everybody's doing wonderful. We always appreciate the time, my friend. I think you guys are going to surprise a lot of people. Best of luck in 2019. Always appreciate the time, and we'll talk to you again real soon.
Absolutely, Adam. Thank you so much.
All right, so I left that tag in there just because you can hear that it's nice to hear a non-confrontational, non-contentious interview. Like, it's okay to like get along with the people that you do interviews with. You know what I mean? Like, I just like the rapport that these guys have, and because of that rapport, you'll find, whether it's Dan Patrick or whatever, the best interviewers are the guys that can take the defenses of the person being interviewed down. And I feel like when Adam Shine interviews Derek Carr, the defenses are down. So what does that mean to us as fans? You're getting genuine answers. He's not dancing.
Right.
You're not getting cliches. You're not getting, it's one day at a time, one game at a time. We're just going to put the work in.
Yeah.
Scoreboard's going to take care of itself. You're not getting those kind of answers.
There's no NASCAR answers there.
Exactly. You know what? He's not thinking the Tide car for
right.
You know what I mean? Whatever. So I thought that was really cool there, and as an example of that. And Mosh, so the expectations, look, he's not dumb enough to be like, oh, we're going to go to the playoffs and get, have that bite him in the butt. But, as we get closer to the season, we'll do a little bit of I'm not big on predictions either. Although I may be big on expectation, but I'm not big on predictions. But I think this is our return to relevance. And so I'm going to ask you, and then we'll close out the segment with this. What do you think? I mean, are we crazy thinking that we could be above 500 this year? Or are we just more same of the same?
I agree with you a little bit on that. I'm not thinking that Miami needs to ship the champagne to to the West Coast, but there's no doubt in my mind with the weapons that we've got that we're going to be a completely different team. We're going to see stuff out there that we haven't seen in a long time. It's that return to excellence, man.
Yeah.
It's there. It's there.
I like it. That's a good way to put it, is that we're going to see a lot that we didn't see, the things that we've been missing since, that 2016 year, right?
Absolutely.
Hey everybody, this is Johnny Spencer from the punk rock band Stringer, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio with Murph and Uncle Mosh. Go Raiders, baby.
Hey, you know what, Murph?
What's that, Mosh?
I want to hear a little bit more about Derek Carr. I do.
This is the Derek Carr episode.
This is the Derek Carr
DC episode.
Do we got anything from OTAs on Derek Carr?
We got a lot about OTAs. So, this is cool, Mosh, and I'm glad you asked. So OTAs, for those of you who don't know, are organized team activities. These are voluntary workouts that they're there for media pundits to freak out when your star wide receiver doesn't show up on day one, so that everybody can be awed by how amazing he is on day two, right? And so, of course, I'm joking, but Antonio Brown did miss the first day at OTAs, but he was there for day two and has been absolutely electrifying in every report, every highlight, everything. It's been awesome. And in fact, a lot of the guys have. There's a lot of fun that the team is having. There's a lot of good news coming out of OTAs now. OTAs, as I mentioned, they are voluntary workouts. They are, they call them shells and shorts, right? So you're just in a jersey and a pair of basketball shorts and a helmet. So you can only take it for what it is. But all things considered, it looks pretty darn good to this point. And so let's go to John Gruden and let's hear him tell us about how his quarterback is looking in OTAs.
Derek did a lot of good things. We're trying to obviously work on a couple things we think that he can get better at. We've also tried to improve his supporting cast at every level. Try to improve our defense. Hopefully we get the ball to him more often in better field position. We've added some receivers. We've added a running back. We've added a couple linemen. So hopefully a lot of these things will show up and he'll be a great quarterback, which I know he will be.
Vote of confidence from the coach.
Absolutely.
Everything sounds good. Everything's rosy, right? Nothing new there. Nothing to see. Move along, right?
Yep.
All right, so let's go to Derek Carr then at OTAs. Now they had him mic'd up. I love me some mic'd up stuff.
Mic'd up is the best.
It's the best. And so they had Derek mic'd up. The Raiders put out the video. It's a really long video, and a lot of times this mic'd up stuff doesn't translate as well to audio, so we like to keep them brief. So I just took a couple segments out of it, clipped them together, and here's what we got.
Let's go. Hey, 20 for 20, fellas. Let's do it. Make Gunther sweat tonight. Hey, my goal is to make Gunther mad every day.
I think he was mad yesterday.
When Tyrell was 68 yards down the field with the ball in his hands. Bro, when I threw that ball, so I was like, dang, with the wind, like, it's starting to go, and you had a little second gear. I was like, golly, you were moving, bro.
I love that, man. If the quarterback's getting excited about throws that he made, and basically he's telling you right there, I didn't have anybody before that had that kind of catch-up speed to a deep thrown pass like that. Right. So what is that? If he's getting excited about it, then oh man, we're not going to see many overthrows this year.
Oh.
He's going to air it out, man.
I love it. I love it.
Good stuff. So speaking of Tyrell Williams, Tyrell had a little bit to say in his press conference afterwards, talking about the wide receiver core.
Oh, it's been good, dude. Like, what you see is, he works hard, and it kind of translates, and everybody sees how hard he works, and he's always putting in that extra effort, so, and just, to watch the guy is one of the best receivers, to see how he works, see how he runs certain routes, and I know it's just fun to watch and fun to learn, just sitting back and watching.
From the outside, there's a perception that wideouts could be a real team strength, especially this passing game. Is that how you look at it when you look at the personnel as a whole?
For sure. I mean, the guys that were here already, Marcel, Keon, those guys are great players too, and I feel like with all the free agents and bringing AB in, I feel like a lot of attention goes there, but those guys can really play too, and Hunter's a good player, and all those, Saeed, all those younger guys, that I feel like they can play really well and they'll contribute, especially on special teams, if not a lot in the offense. So I feel like we have a really strong group. I'm excited to see everybody progress.
All right, there we go. He's excited about the team, excited about the work ethic, talking about special teams contribution, right? Full package there from Tyrell Williams. All right, Uncle Mosh, that's kind of our last OTA clip, other than, of course, something else from Derek Carr. So we're going to Derek. He's the quarterback of the team.
And who's he play for?
The Oakland Raiders. Hold on. Yeah. Our beloved Oakland Raiders. Look at Swag Jeff got me this. You
nice.
These little pop things. What are they called?
Bobbleheads?
No, they're called Pop-Tarts or Pops.
I don't know what they're called. I don't know.
Okay, whatever.
Is it on social media?
Yeah.
Okay.
Somebody in the chat knows what these things are called. What are these things called? Chat room. Pop
heads?
No. Pop Jacks, Pop Tarts, Pop. Oh crap! What are they?
Pop vinyl?
No, it's not Pop vinyl. What they are? They're Pop. Somebody knows. Come on, chat room, help me out here.
Chris Potts said they're called Pop vinyl. And this is riveting radio right here.
I'm sorry. All right, let's move on. I don't know why the hell I got derailed by that.
What rabbit hole did you just go down?
Oh my gosh, I don't know why I got derailed.
What are you thinking?
Hey, what was that?
It's my new soundbite.
Funko Pops. Thank you, Raider Homer.
What are you thinking?
We got a virtual swag.
What are you thinking?
You got virtual Swag Jeff over there? Oh my gosh.
Swag Jeff. Yeah, Funko Pops.
Funko Pops. Thank you guys. Thank you.
I like Ron's idea better.
Pop-Tarts?
Pop-Tarts. Because Uncle Mosh, I'll put a box of Pop-Tarts down.
Oh, you'll crush it.
In a minute. Oh, the brown sugar cinnamon ones?
Do you go to the outside of the Pop-Tart
100%.
First and then go all middle?
And then go all middle.
All middle.
I do that with a sandwich, too.
with anything, non-peanut butter and jelly or just peanut butter and jelly?
Any kind of sandwich. I go crust first. Yeah.
If you had a mortadella and provolone sandwich, you would eat the crust?
100% crust first.
No way.
Yeah, always. And I do that with dinner, too. Like, if I go out for steak and lobster, I eat the stuff around so that I got a nice full belly so that I don't rush the lobster.
Oh, that's smart.
Yeah.
Now, I am a section eater, except Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving, I want it all mixed together. I want the
man, I don't want my food to touch.
No, I want all my stuff touching on Thanksgiving, especially like at your house because you guys do all the awesome cranberry sauce and the casseroles.
Yeah.
I load it up all together. But outside of that, I like to eat it separate. Like I'll eat my fries first before I eat my sandwich. Like if I go to Chick-fil-A, I got to eat the waffle fries first, and then I go to the Chick-fil-A.
I can do that.
Yeah,
I can do
that's
that.
good.
Okay, here we go.
I have no idea how we got into that subject, but
because we like food.
All right,
Pop-Tarts.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so
I'll do a microwave or toaster. I don't care. Really? I can do them right out of the box.
I was just saying, I go raw. I just like them straight out of the package, man.
And I'll tell you what, I promised your son, who's staying at my house right now, your youngest, I said, I got to go do the show. I got to go run over to the fan cave and do the show with your old man. You want to go? And he goes, no. I go, so you're going to stay here at the house? Yeah. Okay, I'll see you when I get home. Don't wreck anything. If you come home, I'll share my favorite cereal in the whole world, and that's what I got for my birthday this year.
Okay.
Is Captain Crunch with Crunch Berries.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
nice.
so I got a little private stash left, and I told.
Did you tell him about it?
I told Vintage.
Aw,
I said,
that's
hey,
nice of you.
I said, hey, I got a little bit of surprise here. And the wife goes, they might be stale, and I go, that's even better.
Yeah, because they don't get too soggy in the milk.
No.
Yeah, I think Cinnamon Toast Crunch might be my all-timer.
Oh,
that's a hard one to fight.
Hey,
man.
I like what Franklin83 says. A cold Pop-Tart right out of the fridge. Never tried it.
I haven't
tried
either.
it.
Franklin, challenge accepted.
We'll do it on the way home. Let
Absolutely.
you know how we go.
Good stuff. All right, so let's get back to the Raiders. So, so the other thing I wanted to cover with Derek Carr was that there is a thing every year the rookies go through that the NFL puts on, and it's called the NFL Rookie Symposium. And the Rookie Symposium is basically it's a kind of a life 101.
It's a what to do, what not to do.
What to do, what not to do. I think the kids nowadays call it adulting. But what it's just, it's basically, how to handle your money. Talks a lot about, what kind of people you should and should not have involved with your money and how to stay out of, precarious
It's the course that Adam Pac-Man Jones flunked 4 times.
Amen, right? And so, you want these guys, look, these guys are targets. They're
Absolutely.
They're young, they're wealthy, they're good-looking guys. They're they're on national TV. They're a target. So it's just a way to help bring these guys along. All right, so the NFL does that. Well, the Raiders did their own, and Derek Carr was the one that led it. And if there's any questioning of this man's leadership, here you go. This is him talking to Josh Jacobs and Max Crosby and all these guys, and it's awesome. So here's a couple highlights from that.
Thing that I've seen since I came in these doors is the people that stay around, the people that make this a career, the people this just isn't just another job, right? I'm gonna do this for a little bit, then I'm gonna go do this. And the people that want this thing to be a career are the ones that every single thing that they do matters to them. Even sitting in these little meetings that no one wants to be at. Let's keep it real, right? You'd rather be at home, you'd rather be watching film, you'd rather doing some other stuff. But every single thing that they do matters to them. If they took away one thing, I just hope that whether they're in this building or outside of this building, every decision they make will be to make sure that they're at their very best for our organization. It's a tremendous opportunity that they've been given by, Mr. Mayock and Coach Gruden. And, you see guys squander those opportunities all the time. It's a shame that we'll never see the best version of some of the best players of all time.
Absolutely.
I've seen some of the greatest athletes, some of the best players in this game come through these doors, played against them, but I know what they do in their off time. I know what kind of food they're eating. I know what they're putting in their body. I know what they're doing at night. I know what they're doing during game weeks on the nights. And I sit there and I say, man, what a shame it is we'll never see the best version of that guy. Hall of Famers even. Everyone, oh, Hall of Fame, all that. I'm not really impressed by that. I'm not impressed by all that stuff. What I'm impressed with is a first-round pick or an undrafted free agent that just busts their tail and maximizes every ounce of ability that God gave them. That's what impresses me. And that's what's going to keep you around. Everything is new to them right now. Everything, they don't even know where to line up for stretch, let alone, how to handle their money, how to handle adversity, all these kind of things that are going to be thrown at them in the pressures of this league. So just coming from someone who's been through it, the highs, the lows, everything, I want to make sure they have someone that can, not only give them a good message, something that's real, but also someone that they can come to and whenever they need it. Everyone wants to be a Pro Bowler. Everybody wants to be a Hall of Famer. But you got to look yourself in the mirror and say, man, did I really on this Saturday night when no one was looking make every decision possible to get that gold jacket? Man, should I really have put that in my body knowing I got to train in 2 days? It's not even about the next morning. Man, I got to train in 2 days. Am I going to be at my best if I do that? If not, just know somebody else is. If not, just know that I am. I'm doing everything that I can possibly to make sure that we are successful. And I say we because we're in this thing together. Appreciate you guys. Y'all have fun, man.
It gives me freaking chills, man. It's freaking awesome.
As a lifelong coach, I've told my kids, are you absolutely playing to your best ability? Have you done it's not a lot of coach speak, but it's so many times I've had kids one-on-ones where they've not lived up to what they're capable of doing, or they've lost. When I coached wrestling, they've lost a tough match, or I want to put it back on them. You know, you console them and you do like a good coach does. You say, you know, I'm sorry for your loss, but I'm going to put my foot in your ass right before I give you a big hug, because, you know, did you do what you're capable of doing? It comes down to, there's only two choices. There's no gray matter. It's are you hurting it or are you helping it? You know, and that's what it comes down to. Are you hurting your game or are you helping your game? There's no, it's black or white. There's no gray area there. And that's what I think, that's what's so important, is what he's saying, is what you're doing on Saturday night, is what you're eating, is how you're working out, are you just getting through it? Is that helping your game or is it hurting your game? Because there's only two choices. It's got to be one or the other. You know,
I'm so glad you jumped on that, because I was actually going to ask you about that. So I'm glad you hit it right there, Mosh. But I also want to ask you about this. Is that okay? Now, Uncle Mosh, for those of you that are new to the show, he's been a lifelong teacher and coach and educator, and you coached arguably the toughest sport there is in wrestling. Arguably, and I would say probably very little argument to it, you have to be more dedicated to wrestling than just about any other sport. Like in terms of the time that it occupies in your day, the strength and condition, everything, the mental, everything about wrestling is you have to be 100% in all the time. And if you're not going to be at your full cap. So I want to ask you this. So you already kind of touched on the importance of being all the way in on that. Derek said there, I played with Hall of Famers, but they never realized that Hall of Fame potential because they weren't all in. Is there anything as a coach that was more heartbreaking than that? And how often do we actually see that, where you see somebody that's just getting by on athletic ability, but it only goes and takes them so far?
And it's so true, Murph. When you watch somebody that you know has the ability to do, and it's not just sports. It can be you know, because I teach theater and kids with acting potential. The hardest thing for me to do, and kids tell me everything. They absolutely tell me everything. But I've got kids with beautiful voices. We live in, you know, I teach in a bedroom community to Nashville. So everybody's got a guitar. Everybody's a singer. And I see these kids that smoke. You know, I smoked. You smoked. We all smoked. You know, but I never had that golden ticket. I never had that voice. You know, somebody in the chat said, well, what about Stabler? He was great. But how great could he have been?
Exactly.
He was great. Would he have, had he not partied so much, could he have been in the Hall of Fame non-posthumously? You know,
Mickey Mantle said it. Mickey Mantle was a hard-charging partier, just like Stabler was.
Yeah.
And Mickey Mantle, and who died prematurely from alcohol use. Same thing, and I'm speaking from the heart here, same thing that my father passed away from.
Right.
Mickey Mantle said, I would have, and Mickey Mantle's one of the greatest baseball players in the entire history of the planet ever.
Top five,
and said, I wasn't nearly as good as I could have been because I was playing hungover half the time.
Right.
Like Mickey Mantle said, in my career, I could have been better. I could have rehabbed better. My knees bothered. Like, think about Stabler's knees. Stabler's knees were, and look, and I'm not talking smack here. I'm just talking real. Stabler's knees were a big part of his downfall as a player. The things that held him back, he wasn't able to rehab. But now, of course, the medicine was different and all that. I'm not trying to pretend like it was.
Yeah, and the whole.
But what those look, as much as we celebrate, and I do, Stabler's my all-time favorite player. But you're right, Mosh. Those things hold players back, and Derek calling that out on the front end and helping these young men to at least have an awareness of that before they get their career started.
Now here's the thing. It's telling your kid, go clean your room. This can't be a one-shot deal. This has to be something. It's why a lot of drug and alcohol rehabs don't work, because there's not follow-up.
Right.
And that's one of the things that the Raiders do, is that there's the follow-up stuff with. We can sit you in these meetings and we can tell you, hey, you know, do this and don't surround yourself with these people and go to your meetings and do all the stuff that you need to do, but it has to be continuously said. It's like telling that kid, go clean your room. Your kid doesn't get up on the first try and go clean their room. You know, it doesn't happen. It's constant. It's parenting. And I think that's what
it's leadership,
it's
man.
Leadership. And that's you gotta hold somebody accountable. And I think that's what Derek says is that, I'm gonna be that guy to hold you accountable. And that's what we need more of.
And he's walking the talk. He's living it. He's doing it himself. What did he tell those guys? Just know that if you're not doing these things, just know that I am. Just know that somebody else is going to, someone that wants your job is going to be doing it.
Right.
And if anything, I'm going to be the one that's going to be doing it too. So I can't applaud it enough. I'm a student of leadership, man. It is my passion outside of podcasting and my real life work. I'm a student of leadership and organizations, and this. Ladies and gentlemen, this is leadership on display. We can discuss the performance on the in between the lines performance of Derek Carr till the cows come home, and it's all fair criticism. But in terms of what he does outside of the uniform, in terms of things like this is the exact thing that you want for your quarterback and a leader of your football team.
Absolutely.
And he is to be applauded. So anyways, we ended up talking about that a little more than I had planned, and that was awesome conversation. So I didn't want to cut that short. Thank you, Mosh, for that awesome insight there, and I hope you guys like that. All right, so we're going to end this segment on a fun note. And Mosh, the president of the Raider Nation is who?
Woo! Ice Cube, baby.
Ice Cube's president of Raider Nation by far. You guys know we love Ice Cube. We love the Rich Eisen show, and here they met up this week, and Cube made an appearance on Rich Eisen show, and of course, Rich asked him about the Raiders.
A certain mold of go-getters, great guys on and off the field. Mm-hmm. It looks like this year is going to be better. Would you agree with that, Cube?
I'm going to take a wait-and-see approach. You got to give a man more than 1 year to rebuild a team. So, he's the coach. I'm going to give him the time to rebuild the team. I think, I'll be happy with – I would love 8-8 this year.
You would sign for 8-8 if I gave you a piece of paper right now.
Yes, I would love 8-8 or better. You know what I'm saying? But, you got to give him more than 1 year to really turn this thing all the way around.
What do you think of Brown? What do you think of AB?
Love him. Love his attitude. He always shows up to play. And Raiders, you gotta have somebody shaking it up in there, man. You can't have like a standard Raider team with no personality or flavor.
I could not agree with him anymore. I could not agree with him anymore. We're going to talk about Richie Incognito, who was signed
flavor
this week, right? Like, I love it. Like, that's the spirit of the Raiders, right? Is to have these personalities in the building, and so I think it's great, and I definitely echo what Cube's sentiments are there. Uncle Mosh, let me shout out the chat, and then we'll get on to the next segment here. I appreciate everybody joining us live on YouTube.com/Murph's Fan Cave. I can't scroll up, but Freddie Chavez is in there. 3-Ring Raiders, Haley Mew, Monster Mash Ken, Eye Patch, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Raider Homer, the Big Easy, the Stackanova's in there. Did I say Monster Mash Ken yet? Octavio was in there. Pirate 1975, Freddie Chavez. Man, a lot of action in there in the chat room this week, and appreciate you guys checking us out.
Nobody enjoyed a good Donnybrook more than sixth-year linebacker Phil Villapiano.
This is Phil Villapiano, and you're listening to Raiders Fan Radio.
All right, love us some Phil Villapiano, and perfect lead-in, Uncle Mosh, to this next segment.
Thank you.
And so this segment is going to be a lot of fun. We love the history of our football team, and we love to debate, discuss, review, you name it. The history of this team is a great one of the richest in all of sports, let alone football in the NFL. And so this week, a topic came up on the Dan Patrick Show, and you guys know I'm a big fan of that show. I have it on in my office every day when I work at home. And one of the subjects that they had on the show this week, where they were talking about athletes that changed their sport. So basically it was, you look at, Lawrence Taylor, Jackie Robinson, Lou Alcindor, like players that came in and actually changed the way that the game is played or changed the entire, dynamic of the sport from their point forward. Okay. So I thought, well, let's do that and put a Raiders spin on it.
All right.
I put out a message on our Facebook page, and I wrote this. So on Dan Patrick, they're talking about players that changed their game. How about it, Raider Nation? Tell us the players you think changed the Raiders. not the coaches, not Al Davis, just the players that changed the team forever. Leave us some cool answers, and we'll talk about the best ones on the next episode of Raiders Fan Radio. So I have mine, and I'm going to ask Mosh his, and he's also going to tell us about some of the ones that some of the answers that we got. Chat room, we want to hear yours, but let me make sure I define this, because I want to make sure that and it's sometimes in text, it's hard to describe what we're looking for. Who changed the Raiders? I don't mean like played well or, whatever. I mean, changed the team from their point forward. So, like Jamarcus Russell is not a positive answer, but he is an answer because he changed the face of the organization for like a 5-year period, and arguably his effects still last to today. So that's the kind of stuff we're looking for, like impact, like things that actually change the way that the Raiders are the Raiders. So that was the spirit behind it. Uncle Mosh, tell us a little bit about some of the answers we got, and also want to hear yours as well.
Okay, so you want to do yours and mine first, then go into what the fans have said?
Mine's got some audio behind it, so why don't you want to do yours, then do the fans, and then
all right, let me give you mine.
Yeah.
Let me give you mine. So my pick, the guy that changed the Raiders, he changed the Raiders in a way that no player or no fan can ever eclipse what he's done.
Ooh, like
it. So how does a player and a fan, how can they be in the same gist? How can they be in the same thing? Because I'll tell you why.
Okay.
Because you and I know about the Heidi game.
Yeah.
We know about the immaculate reception.
Deception.
We know about the sea of hands that goes to the post, the holy roller, red right 88, and playing in Super Bowls in 1960s, 1970s, and 1980s. But only one man has ever done that.
I like it.
One man, Gene Upshaw.
Yeah.
And then when he retires from that, he becomes the president of the union.
Boom.
And brings the union to a whole nother level. He brought his play. He brought his ability. Somebody said about Upshaw, I think it was, gosh, I can't remember where it was. Madden said nobody ever played, Art Shell said, the meanest offensive lineman to ever play. Art Shell said that.
A guy that played next to him for however many years.
13 years or whatever it was. I'm sorry. That's
a great
nobody
answer.
I don't remember. I remember the Heidi Bowl, but I was a kid. I was a little guy, okay?
Yeah,
I remember
1968, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm 10 years old at that, 9 years old, whatever it was at that time. These other ones, the ones that came later, the Immaculate Deception, the Sea of Hands, Goes to the Post, I remember seeing those, but a lot of those memories are still photos, they're no longer scrolling through. They're in black and white, But this guy, to have played in those, to be the first ever to play in a Super Bowl in 3 different decades.
And he changed, and what I love so much about your answer is that, and you could even throw Shell in there partially as well because of what he did off the field when Shell began his coaching career, and then what Upshaw did when he took over the players union. You're right, and that's the kind of like the Raiders played offensive line different on that line when it was Shell and Upshaw and Bueller and Dalby and a big fella Dave Vella and all those guys. They played offensive line different. They used to. I remember hearing interviews with Upshaw where he would tell Kenny, like in the huddle, "Hey man, bounce around back here or something. At least make it look like something's going on." Because Stabler would drop back and just stand there flat-footed.
Right.
The protection would be so. Look, I'm getting chills. The protection would be so good, especially from that side, from Shell and Upshaw. Stabler didn't even have to move around. He would just stand there in the pocket and just kind of look around like this, and then boop, hit Biletnikoff.
Murph, think about the guys he played with. Think about the guys he made look good from 1967 to 1980.
Oh my gosh! Yeah.
From his
all those running backs,
from his first Super Bowl to his last Super Bowl.
Yes.
My goodness, The entire decade of the 70s.
Yeah, that's a great one, Mosh.
Jeez, and that guy's on the team. He's made
that's a great one. I
crazy.
love it. I love it. I love it. Much love to Gene Upshaw. Somebody, frankly, we haven't talked enough about on this show.
Absolutely.
That's a great call, man. Great answer. Great answer. All right, so before we get to mine, let's hear some of the stuff, some of the feedback we got on the Facebook page.
Okay,
we got some good ones in there.
So we had some good ones. Marcus Allen.
Change the Raiders. Marcus Allen running with the night. Black
Absolutely.
Sunday. Super Bowl MVP. That's a great answer. Good answer.
Billy Cannon.
Interesting. Okay.
The first Heisman Trophy winner.
All right.
Okay. Bo Jackson.
Bo definitely. He embodied.
Yes.
He embodied the Los Angeles Raiders. Like that. I'm down with that. That changed how and here's what else too. On the negative side of it, when he got hurt, the Raiders were so sold out for Bo Jackson that when he got hurt, it set them back.
Right.
It set them back. It kept. Yeah. So that's a good answer.
And then a group, the Soul Patrol. Talk about change the game.
Yeah.
The freaking Soul Patrol.
Tatum.
Oh.
Yeah.
You know?
You got any more? Because Tatum's almost a lead into mine, so go ahead.
Howie Long. Jamarcus Russell. Lester Hayes. Of course, we said that. But
give us some names, too, of the folks that were...
Oh, I'm sorry. Cody Clements sent that. Brent Sterling sent that. Matt Santini, Dale Robertson, and Howie Long. Keelan Elliott, Jamarcus Russell. Jasondon Hunter.
Here's one that Jason Dean Hunter, when Seawood came back, he changed the culture and held players accountable. I didn't know it, but he gave us, he didn't give us too many wins, but he was a gamer. That was one of the first ones that popped into my head. Charles Woodson, too, definitely changed because the Raiders it was some rough times. And Chuck coming back, almost legitimized the Raiders again. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because he was Charles freaking Woodson, man. And the fact that he would come back to the Raiders, almost elevated us and made it attractive for other players to want to come back to the Raiders.
And there's a lot of folks that are throwing some stuff in there that people that helped propel us to the next level. LaMonica, Blanda, these guys that helped to take us. Ray Guy. There is so many.
Who said that one?
I don't.
I got
CJ.
CJ DeQuarto?
Yes.
You want to say that right?
CJ DeQuarto.
That is a freaking great one. Because now if we're talking about players that change the organization, change the way literally that the team's approach to this day on special teams, that tone was set by Ray Guy.
Absolutely.
And
it's kind of like our Mount Rushmore.
Yeah.
You can't narrow it down to 4. And as much as my rant about Gene Upshaw was validated and was legit, he had, can you say that it's this one guy or this one group or this, the reason I went with him is because he spanned 3 decades, from the 60s, 70s, and 80s, I mean, I don't know.
Yeah, I know that was a good so in terms
Janikowski, there's another one.
There's another
16 years, 18 years, however long he was with us.
Yeah, it's a very good one. And getting drafted as high as he did, much like Guy, definitely changed the face of the organization. By total votes or submissions, Charles Woodson number 2 is the winner. That's who we got the most feedback from. I believe Ron had that one in there. Lance Pitzer had that one. Some Candy Stablers, some Soul Patrols, a lot of Tim Brown, some great feedback, y'all.
Oh, sure. The Big Easy says that Matt Millen played every game like it was his last. And he absolutely did.
Matt Millen was a great one, set the tone for those offenses in the earlier part of the 80s. All right, so let me give you mine. So when I first thought of this, the first player that popped into my head was Jack Tatum. And the reason that Jack Tatum popped into my head was because I thought that when you think about the legacy of the Raiders, the mystique of the Raiders, what encompasses the Raiders on the field is the grit, it's the toughness, it's the playing to the echo of the whistle. Whether it was guys like Villapiano or whoever, it was that pushing the edge, pushing the rules, seeing what you could get away with, getting in other people's heads. Like that was what Jack Tatum, the menacing, I don't know, the mystique of him as a player, his nickname of assassin, like people were afraid of him, right? And so that was the first person that popped into my head, but he's not my answer. And I'll tell you why, is that there was another guy that did that before Tatum. Now, Tatum played a different position, but there was another guy that did a very similar thing with his career and a similar approach, but he did it back in the 60s and kind of set the tone, I think, for the Raiders, and I think really set the tone for Madden to allow this type of mentality and approach to the game to thrive in the team. So my pick is number 83, Big Ben Davidson.
Nice.
So Ben Davidson is my choice because Davidson set the tone in the 60s for what the Raiders were going to become until this day today. He played with that reckless abandon. He attacked people's heads. He was going to hit you well after. He didn't even play to the echo of the whistle. He played until there's
everybody's in the huddle.
Until their mamas are, you know what I mean, opening their car door, getting ready to leave to go home. He's hitting people. They invented, Mosh, a rule to accommodate the late hits that Ben Davidson would lay on people. So I got the copy of the rule right here. This is in the modern day rule book of the NFL, section 12, or Rule 12, section 2, article 6G. No unnecessarily running, diving into, cutting, or throwing the body against, on, or a player who is out of the play or should not have reasonably anticipated such contact by an opponent before or after the ball is dead. Okay. That is because in 1970, Big Ben Davidson, after the Chiefs quarterback, Lenny Dawson, got a first down and essentially sealing the game because all they had to do was run out the clock at that point, Big Ben comes diving in and punches the crown of his helmet into the lower back of Len Dawson. A big giant fight ensues. Both benches clear. They get offsetting penalties. The Chiefs have to go for it again on third down. Don't convert it. Punt the ball back to the Raiders. We go down and score. Raiders win. That is the complete embodiment of what that whole, pushing the rules, pushing the boundaries. That is what the Raiders became, and it was all due to Big Ben Davidson. Now, look.
And that's why we hate the Chiefs to this day.
And that's why we hate the Chiefs. Now, look, I'm not a big fan of playing big, giant, long audio clips on this show, but I found an amazing NFL Films clip of Ben Davidson. I've cut this thing way down, but it's still about 4 minutes long. But it's because it's gold. So for those of you that aren't familiar with Ben's career, aren't familiar with maybe some of those Raiders teams in the late 60s, this is absolutely, it's amazing stuff. So I hope you enjoy it.
This is Ben Davidson. The former silver screen barbarian played like one when he was with the Oakland Raiders from 1964 to 1971. He was a three-time AFL All-Star and earned a reputation as the most notorious villain on the league's most intimidating team.
Oh, my Lord, he bust some helmets. He has bust some helmets. And plus, he was a showman also. The handlebar mustache.
I just grew that, and it was no attempt to look menacing. I hope my play was menacing enough.
It was, especially after the whistle.
If you make a tackle and Ben is not laying next to you, duck. Because here comes Ben.
Ben would hit the quarterback while he was getting in the car with his girlfriend after the ball game. That was not a late hit to Ben.
Davidson was also fond of leg whips and spearing.
That's just the way I was taught to play football, tackle with your head. And we did do a lot of neck exercises to make sure we didn't hurt ourselves.
As if that was the main concern.
Anyway, it worked out for me.
Come on, Ben, hit him anyway.
There's Upshaw.
Come on, Ben, let's go.
And we were penalized a lot. We had games where we get 200 yards of penalties. And Ben would have 75 or 80 of them.
This is the play.
Being jumped on by one of the Chiefs. Holy Toledo, it's a free-for-all.
Big Ben became a folk hero. Nowadays, quarterbacks are protected like endangered animals. No tackling low, no driving into the ground, and absolutely no hits to the head.
I don't think I'd make it in the NFL today.
This was Ben's specialty.
In my defense, that was legal, and if you hit a quarterback in the face, there was no penalty for that, and knocked him down, that was a tackle. So life was simpler in the old days. Joe Namath had talked about how we were dirty players and this and that.
I always felt that Oakland's defense wasn't quite as strong as Kansas City's defense, so I would rather, offensively speaking, play against Oakland.
So we get to the game, Ben hits him, and he hits him so hard, I thought the guy was dead. So that next year, we go to play him, and they station a referee behind the quarterback, and he starts yelling, "Lay off."
Don't touch them, leave them alone. I mean, that's not their job. Their job is to throw a flag after you whack them, not tell you not to.
One time you were down the back of the end zone. Yeah. Davidson come at you, and he could have rat the hell out of you.
No, the referee was right there telling him, stop. The ball was gone. He could have ratted. I wish he would have. That's 15 yards.
Davidson came to embody the early Raiders mystique, a surly band of rogues who pushed the league's rules and even the team's owner to the limit.
This is fun.
Tying up Al Davis' son one day, actually taped him up, made a mummy out of him, and left him there between morning practice and afternoon practice in Santa Rosa, taped up, and it's a wonder he didn't die. But Mantle liked that kind of stuff. He thought, look at them. They're ready. They're getting ready to play. Look what they've done to the owner's son. So...
He excelled in an era of football when villainy trumped ordinary, when it was good to be bad. Ben was one of the first to realize this and capitalize on it. While Davidson's enormous stature did not get him into the Hall of Fame, he did have a hand in the induction of others.
You know, I know I go into the Hall of Fame as a coach, and I know that I go into the Hall of Fame because of my players and what they did. All my players that are out there, stand up. My family, stand up. Just take your day. Remember Big Ben Davidson. You remember all these guys. I mean Fred Biletnikoff, the whole thing, Big Ben Davidson there. I mean, no, stand up, Ben. Stand up, enjoy the moment. This is ours, a whole bunch of you. I love you. Thank you very, very much.
That's the best right there.
Isn't that great?
Coach John Madden, when he went in the Hall of Fame, said he'd never really had a job, never really had to work in his life. He's always gotten to do fun things, and I'm kind of the same way. Always figured anything I got out of football was all pretty much a gift. Everything worked out in the long run. Had some fun in life and got to do a lot of interesting things.
Mosh, he's the guy. To me, that is
awesome.
the guy that absolutely embodies the spirit of the Oakland Raiders and changed the way the team plays, the way the team is marketed, the way that the team, everything about the Raiders is, I think, on the field because of Ben.
Because he taped up Mark Davis and left him there.
Isn't that a great story?
Man, I wish there was a picture of that.
Oh, my gosh. I know. Right?
Good pick, Murph. Good pick.
Thank you.
What are we doing?
See fans.
Oh, my gosh. I messed up. Sorry about that.
There he is, fading, looking. He's under the gun. He's tied. He throws. It is.
All right, so here on Raiders Fan Radio, our favorite part of our show is the Sea of Fans mailbag. There are two ways you can get in touch with the show. That is by calling us and leaving us a voicemail at 909-345-3346. That's 909-345-3346. Or you can email us, show@RaidersFanRadio.com, and send us a message that way. And, as much as I love the Facebook messages and the Twitter messages and the Twitter DMs and the Instagram messages and all that, it's real tough. That's why we brought on Swag Jeff, is to help out with our social media. If you want to get a message to us, or you want to get a message to Raider Nation, even if it's asking us a question about what we think about a player or a move or whatever, the best way to do that is to do it here on the Sea of Fans mailbag. So please utilize that, and frankly, it gives a way for everybody else to hear from you as well. So we appreciate those other communications, but the best way is to hit us up on the Sea of Fans mailbag. And so, Mosh, we have a thing we call around here called a made man or a made woman, and that is when you call the show and you leave your message 3 times, and we play it on the show, you become a made man. That's why our shirts say "Get Made" on them, as you see behind Uncle Mosh there. And of course, you can buy one of those "Get Made" shirts at RaidersFanRadio.com/t-shirts. So you become a made man. Well, every crew needs a captain or a capo.
Right. That's right.
Right? And so the made man of the made men is Aaron, the Q-Dog Raider. And so we always feature in our Sea of Fans mailbag. Our opening segment is from the capo. So let's hear from him.
Greetings, Don Murph, Consigliere and Spotlight Award-winning Best Director, Uncle Mosh, Underboss Sonny, Little Murph, Nation, Aaron Q-Dog Raider, your capo, coming to you from the great state of Texas. John Gruden was out there recently, and he spoke to the NBC Sports' Peter King, giving copy out there, talking about Vontaze Burfict and, of course, AB and their relationship. Ringmaster Gruden went on to say that, hey, they're good. They even played a game of Family Feud. Now, he said that June, May, April, these are the months that it's all.
I'm sorry, I'm going to stop it real quick. When Aaron's call, it kind of dipped out. I think he was maybe had a bad cell signal for a moment. And so if it sounds like it jumps around a couple times, that's why. It's not him. It was me. I edited it together. So there wasn't okay. Gotcha. So just to let you know.
Almost like church. Everybody gets a chance to stand up, shake hands with John. John doesn't get a chance to know Paul, so on and so forth. There was a black team, silver team, and they had Burfict and Brown on the same team, and, they ended up winning. I think one of the questions quoted Chucky was, it was a hell of a game. One of the questions was, of course, these guys were talking about Nike and Wrangler. These guys don't know shit about fashion. Hey, but they did great. Got some laughs. These days, you got to think outside the box. Let there be detente in the building. Raiders left tackle Colton Miller, up 18 pounds, says he's expected to play better and will be better this year. But you know what? After playing hurt last year, we'll see how this goes. Apparently, free agent signee Trent Brown is going to move to right tackle. Looks like Colton Miller is going to have to live out his creed and be that left tackle we want him to be. Chucky, he wasn't done giving up quotes, remarking about second-year behemoth Brandon Marker. Well, he's another guy that came back stronger. You know what? He came back married. He's back heavier, and they might even give him a flyer at left guard. I find that ironic. I mean, he's 6'8", and that's awful tall for a guard, but #Fire Cable once took the 6'7" Robert Gallery and made him a serviceable guard, so we'll see. Speaking of guards, there's been a little hay made in the news recently about Richie. I'll pop the trunk of my dad's funeral, Incognito, if that's his real name. I mean, seriously, Incognito is now a Raider on a 1-year show-me deal. After 2 off-season arrests, I don't know how this is going to go. Looks like suspensions are coming. Goodell, we can't stand him, but he can't stand us worse. Today is Wednesday, May 29th, and Nick Bosa is already out with an injured hammy. Hey, way to make the 49ers great again, jackass. Adam Pac-Man Jones announced his retirement from the NFL, and Scrippers Worldwide are giving a booty clap in silence for his departure. Chris Long, son of Howie Long, Raider great, announced his retirement and admitted that he hit the chronic. Imagine that. Why did we ever fail to make this guy a Raider again? I simply don't understand. The hit list, short and sweet, Johnny Townsend, punter, Florida. But more seriously, Ben Roethlisberger's apology to AB. Tap that. Double tap that. To hell with Roethlisberger. And on a very, very sincere note and respect given to the boy wonder, B-Dog, in a pasture, who graduated from high school this May.
Woo! Congratulations, B-Dog.
Way
Good
to
job.
go, B-Dog.
Awesome. And great call from Aaron. Man, when he busted out with Adam Pac-Man Jones and Scrippers with their
booty clap.
Booty clap moment of silence. You're the best, Aaron. That's so good.
Oh,
so
my
good.
gosh.
All right, so that we heard from our capo. So Uncle Mosh, the other guy we typically kick off the show or this segment with is Paul. And now Paul is in Shropshire, England, in the UK. We joke that he is in Shropshire, Mississippi, because he is west of Birmingham. And so we often. What am I? I'm messing up here.
You're just trying to say that we kid about that. And,
yes, thank you.
And we have fun with that.
We have fun with that. We have a lot of fun with Paul, and Paul is a man of many hats. He's a man of many titles now, but he's only got one name, Mosh. He's got one first name, and that is Paul. And
and everybody knows him as, hey, it's Paul.
It's Paul. And I don't know why, man. Sometimes things just pop into my head, and I thought, what'd be fun?
What's that?
Let's give Paul his own intro. Like we had an intro. We have one for Aaron, right, for Capo that we have that we'll play once in a while. And I thought once in a while it'd be fun to play an intro for Paul. And so I thought, what better than just to have 30 seconds of Paul?
I love it.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul.
Paul!
Paul!
Paul! Paul!
Paul.
Paul!
Paul.
Paul! Paul! Claude! Claude! Claude!
Paul.
Paul! 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 Paul!
Paul, your name Paul?
Hello?
Paul.
Hello?
Paul.
I met him with Paul. Who? Paul.
Paul, yes, Paul.
Paul's not here. Hey, Paul. Paul!
Hi. I'm Paul.
30 seconds of Paul.
Oh my God!
I love it.
I hope you enjoyed that, Paul. So there you go. Paul, the man of many hats, Uncle Mosh.
So you want to hear what Paul has to say?
Well, I was gonna. There was something real quick in the chat. Someone asked about Murph and Mosh, will there be a Murph's Fan Cave Instagram page? Maybe we'll get with Swag Jeff on that. But there already is a Raiders Fan Radio Instagram. You can find us there and give us a follow there.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right.
So
anyway, back to Paul.
So Paul says, hey, evening, fellas. Hope all is well. To start with this week, Murph posed a question on Twitter, what we just talked about, and who the player was that changed the team. Recently, I think Marshawn Lynch changed our running game and dynamic completely. Monster Mash Ken called it perfectly on Twitter, so I don't steal his comments, as I'm sure he'll be in touch himself. I believe one of the most influential Raiders of recent times has been Charles Woodson. The way the man handled himself on and off the field has set a benchmark for all future Raider DBs. Good call. While I was reading some Raiders articles recently, I came across a Bleacher Report that applies to this question. So I'd also like to add Old Man Willie Brown and Kent McClellan. Excuse me.
Kent McLuhan?
Kent McLuhan, who were the originators of the bump and run defense.
Oh,
good call.
Good call.
I love the
that.
double
That's
bubble
good...
on that with Willie Brown and Kent.
Yeah.
So not only did they influence the Raiders, they changed the defense mindset of the game.
Yes.
That was a well thought out.
That's the spirit of the question there.
Yeah.
That's perfect, Paul. Good job.
I guess the biggest piece of news to hit the last 24 hours has been the signing of Richie. I was a little concerned as to what this might do to the locker room, given his well-publicized personal issues, but I trust the Gruden-Mayock decision-making process, so if they're happy, then so am I. I would hope the rest of the guys will welcome him and move forward, as he's a real beast that fills a need on the team, and as Mr. Mayock says, you can't have all Boy Scouts.
Yep.
Good call.
Good
Holy
call.
mackerel.
Yeah.
I would also be a little hypocritical to love and adore our badasses of the past, than not let this guy have a fair crack at redemption. Let's face it, he's been a captain on the 70s team, and there's a lot he needs to get through before the season starts, so let's see what happens. Following the sad passing of Bart Starr earlier this week, I was reading a few articles about how much he was looked up to by so many people, and a few reporters said he was the only player they wished they had played for their team. So there's a question for you guys. Which player from another team did you always wish had played for the Raiders? Ooh. Mine was Walter Payton.
Oh, good
Holy
one.
Holy mackerel. Paul is on fire
Paul's
today.
On fire. That's a freaking amazing question. All right, I'm going to write that down because I want to put a pin in a couple things he said.
Yeah. Finally, during episode 129, I was given the title of the Sizzler Scorekeeper. It's always an honor to be given a title, and I've been called a lot worse. Haven't we all, Paul? However, it does seem to me that such a title has to be earned, so I've decided that I'll go back through the archives of the show and find out just who is leading the Sizzler.
Oh, my gosh.
In fact, I've already started the process, and I'll let you know when I find out.
Very cool, man. You rock, Paul.
My emails in the future may become shorter as the signature line will take up most of the room. Love you, Raider Nation. Regards. And here's his signature line.
All right.
Paul Egerton, the Sizzler scorekeeper from Shropshire, Mississippi. Proud made man. One-time winner of the Raiders Fan Radio Sizzler. That was a good paragraph and a half.
Great job, Paul. Man, so some awesome questions. All right, so I gotta we're gonna run short on time, so I'll keep my answers brief. But I would say this, Mosh, in terms of the Richie Incognito signing, I love it, and I love it because not only does it fill a need, but every goal scorer needs an enforcer.
Yep.
To every Wayne Gretzky, there's a Marty McSorley, and just let somebody go over there and pull a Ben Davidson on Derek Carr now.
Oh, yeah.
You just let somebody go over there and mess with DC. Richie Incognito is going to be all up in there. You know what I mean? Like, I love that about this signing. That is a guy that you want to talk about bringing some grit, bringing some scrap, bringing some attitude. That's the kind of guy that you want to have influencing Colton Miller, Brandon Parker, right? And I think it's a nice contrast to the more stoic, quiet leadership of a Rodney Hudson, who's not that guy. He's the best player at his position on our football team, but he's not that kind of like, borderline crazy tough guy that Incognito is. So I think it's a good balance. I like it. I'm a big fan of it. What do you think?
I do. I agree. You got to have somebody, and that's part of that what I was talking about earlier, building your weapons. You've got to have that weapon. You've got to have that guy that's gonna back your play every time.
Yeah.
And that's him, man.
Absolutely. Woo. That's a good one. So the other question he asked there, and I'm going to run risk of getting wordy on this one, so I'm going to keep it brief. Cut me off, Mosh, if I start rambling. Player to have been in the league that I would have liked to have seen be a Raider. All right, now Mosh knows this. Those of you listening may not know. My all-time favorite non-Raider is Dan Marino. I was a huge fan of Marino as a kid. The Raiders moved to L.A., kind of broke our hearts a little bit. We started looking at other players to root for, teams to root for. They played the Niners in the Super Bowl. We hate the Niners. I rooted for Dan Marino. So I kind of followed his career for a while after that. And in fact, behind Uncle Mosh over there's an autographed picture of Dan Marino that I got when I was like 13 years old or something like that over here. Yeah, right there behind you, underneath the Welcome to Vegas sign. Anyways, so I'm a big fan of Marino. But Marino was drafted in 1983. Now, Don Mosbar was selected by the Raiders right before Miami took Dan Marino. So we missed him by literally one pick. But look, the Raiders didn't need a quarterback back then. And in fact, we won the Super Bowl in the year that he was drafted. So it wasn't like there was a pressing need. So I'm not going to pick Marino. I'm going to pick my other favorite player, and I'm a big quarterback guy, my other favorite player that's a non-Raider, and that's Aaron Rodgers. Now, in 2005, if you rewind the Wayback Machine to then, we weren't very good. Kerry Collins was our quarterback at 32 years old. Rich Gannon was 39, barely playing because he was so beat up from concussions. We needed a quarterback, and the Raiders selected at 26 Fabian Washington, cornerback, who? Yeah, exactly. And the Packers took Aaron Rodgers, Bay Area guy. I think that would have been, to this day, think about what the Raiders would look like today in 2019 if we pull the trigger on Aaron Rodgers back in 2005. Now, I'm adding a little bit of a caveat into your question, Paul, for players that I would have liked to have seen be Raiders, but I'm picking that because not only did we have a shot at him, we missed him, and it still, to this day, would have been amazing to have Aaron Rodgers in silver and black. What do you think, Mosh?
Ooh, that would have been amazing. It would have changed the whole complexion of, But then, then we would have been talking about all the Super Bowls we won.
Yeah, exactly. But it's easy to say Lawrence Taylor, or you think about about the greatest players of all time. Well, sure, I would have liked to see them be Raiders, but I really like Aaron Rodgers. I think that he would have been a great Raider. Like I said, he's a Bay Area guy. I went to Chico Chico, and you know what I mean.
See, mine was me and Jesse Rosales. We have the same one, Mean Joe Green. I loved, and it's from and I hated him.
You hated him.
I hated Joe Green because he played for the Stinklers, and
Stinklers.
Yeah, I just made that up. I just made it up.
That's a good one, the Stinklers.
But I love the guy, man. I mean, he did the Coke commercials,
Yeah.
But man, everything he embodied would have been just in silver and black. It would have been, and then
how about him playing right next to your buddy Otis, man?
Absolutely.
Can you imagine that line?
It would have been crazy.
With those two and Matuzak and
then
Hendricks.
My other one from the same era, and I got to go with him, Franco.
Oh,
I know.
Yeah.
But if Phil Villapiano can bury the hatchet, I can bury the hatchet.
Right.
I would have loved to have seen
How
Franco.
cool would have been Franco's Italian army there in Oakland? Yeah, that would have been cool. That would have been cool. Good one, Mosh. I hate they're both Steelers, but I
do too.
But I get why you.
But
sense.
who I would have loved to have seen back in the day.
Absolutely, yeah. Good call.
Hey,
call, Mosh.
so we're kind of pressed on time.
Yes.
I want to thank Ben for his email.
Yeah.
Ben's a vet, and he sent an email and he talks about that, and he goes on to say how excited he is about the Raiders coming, and he lives in Vegas, and he's fired up. He thinks that Tom Cable bought the house down the block.
Cool.
Yeah, so
Cool.
he's
Send us pictures.
Yeah, exactly. I want
you go to barbecues at Tom Cable's house. Send us pictures.
But he did. He sent a great email in here. Thank you. We appreciate that, Ben. Thanks for your service. And sorry we're running so short on time, but we did get it. We did read it, and we appreciate you sending that in.
All right. Thank you very much, Ben. And Mosh, you said it. You called it. We're running short, so let's jump into it. Rev Raider.
What's going on, Murph and Uncle Mosh? This is Rev Raider calling back from Jersey again. Before I get started, I just wanted to give a shout out and rest in peace to super fan from the Buffalo Mafia. I know he's not a Raider, but there's some great super fans out there, and he was one of them, Pancho Villa, and he just recently died of cancer at age 39. So, that kind of hit home, me having family who's died of cancer and me just turning 40. So we were basically almost the same age. But rest in peace to him. But I just wanted to talk about what they were talking about recently with Derek Carr, and a lot of people keep talking about this whole dink and dunk. I don't think people really watch football. I mean, if you pay attention, prior to last year, he wasn't dinking and dunking. He was moving the ball, throwing the ball, doing what we had to do. Like most quarterbacks should. Last year, of course he's going to be dinking and dunking. He didn't have any time to throw. I mean, some people say he should have ran and stuff like that, but the lack of time to throw the ball, of course he's going to throw it quick, wouldn't you? Also, I was also listening to the news about Trent Brown going to right tackle as opposed to left. Some people might have an issue with it. I actually don't, because a lot of people have been analyzing this too, and I've been watching film. A lot of Derek Carr's sacks actually came from the right side last year. And if you pay attention to players like Khalil Mack, especially Khalil Mack or Von Miller, but Khalil Mack, whenever he makes these big plays, his biggest plays, where he's one-on-one with somebody, he's usually coming from the offense's right side or defense's left side, and he's usually coming straight on. Whenever he goes to the opposite side, he's usually doing a twist stunt type play whenever he's making a big play. So I think him being on the right side makes a lot of sense. So I don't have any complaints about it. But that's just what was on my mind real quick. That's it. I'll talk to you guys soon.
All right, great call there from Rev. And so we echo our condolences, RIP to Pancho Villa. I know that the Villapiano family knew him, and because, of course, Phil went on to play for the Bills after the Raiders, and so they were definitely out there sending out their respects, and so much respect from us here at Raiders Fan Radio as well. And cancer has unfortunately ravaged our family,
absolutely,
in many ways, and so we definitely feel that and express our sympathies there. So in the chat, Q Dog mentioned Reggie White as far as players he would have liked to see be Raiders. That's a great answer. Good job there. And then also on Rev's comments about switching sides, going from left tackle to right tackle. I agree, and that's really what defenses have become with these hybrid fronts, and they overload one side. They have guys moving around all over the place, up and down the line of scrimmage, and so yes, you have to have a right tackle. The old days of the right tackle being your run blocker and the left tackle being your pass blocker, those days are kind of over. You need effective pass blockers as the league has continued to evolve. All right, so great job there, Rev Raider. Okay, Uncle Mosh, we're going to go next up to Seaport Raider.
Merv, Uncle Mosh, your Seaport Raider checking in with y'all. It's been a while since I called in. I don't got a lot to say, but I was reading on Twitter that apparently the Jets are looking into hiring Mike Mayock's replacement on what like the draft shows, I guess, Daniel Jeremiah. And I just find that funny because that when the Raiders hired Mayock, it was like split. Like a lot of people, such like talking heads like Stephen A. Smith were like, "Oh, he doesn't deserve it. Or it's gonna blow up in their face. It's gonna suck or something like that." But then and then after the draft, people kind of shredded our draft, but then they came around because they know they wouldn't last. It's like we know we had a good draft, and then now Daniel Jeremiah is about to get hired by another organization, and people are like, "Oh, this is great, this is amazing." I'm like, but when the Raiders did it, y'all talk so much mess about us, but it's all right though.
All right, so unfortunately, guys, I got to cut some of these short as we're running really tight on time. But great job on the call, Seaport Raider. Continue to call us back. Look forward to hearing from you again. And I'm with them. There's a lot of talk now about Daniel Jeremiah getting hired to a front office position with the Jets. And you know what, Mike Mayock might be one of those guys. We talk about guys that change the way that things are done. He might have been the one to break that mold, Mosh.
We were talking about players, though.
Well, yes, but I mean,
sure.
In his realm, in what he does, he might be the next one. All right, so Chucktown Raider called us twice this week. Again, we're short on time, so we're going to skip through his first call, but we're going to play his second one. Here's Chucktown Raider.
Hey, this is Chucktown Raider calling once again. That last call, I let a little politics get into my into my Raider phone call. I apologize about that. Well, I misspoke. Okay. The Monday Night Football games, they don't run that late. I guess what I meant to talk about was the doubleheader games. We always get the late one if it's a doubleheader, especially on Thursday. Those finish up about 1:30. But y'all know my pain, man. You know about staying up freaking late to catch a game. When you gotta be back at work early in the morning. For me, it's 4:30. I don't know what it is for you guys, but man, it's tough to watch a game and then be work that early. But anyways. Thanks once again for y'all, and have a fantastic time. Take care.
All right, so he's talking about those late games. You went on about a little bit longer in his first call. It's not so bad for us because we're Central Time, but it was a little jarring for me when I first moved to Tennessee, or actually I moved to Florida first from California. But point being, though, going from I remember those 10 o'clock games on the West Coast, and then if they were playoff games, they started 30 minutes before that, because they wanted to give them time to have overtime. So, like, literally, if you're going to go out to a bar to watch a game, it was like 9 a.m. and you're eating chicken wings, slugging back Coors Lights, like waiting for the playoffs to start. Like, now coming out here,
and your problems what with that, Murph?
And none at all.
Murph, what are you thinking?
There's that dang virtual Jeff again. But I feel, you know what I feel for the folks like during the World Series. If you're a Red Sox fan, and like some of these games, if they go to extra innings, they don't get over till like 1 a.m. Like, that's terrible, man. Some of these late starts are crazy, and basketball's like that too now, where they're getting these really really late games, man. But anyway, so I'm with you on that. Those double headers. I know we're what are we opening this week or this year? I don't remember. I need to look at that in the schedule during the next call. But I think we're on.
I think
Monday
you're right.
Night. Yeah. All right, next up, we're going to hear from our buddy Beto. You know the city.
Raider Beto, you know the city. So I haven't called in a while, about 2 months. I've been busy with schoolwork, which reminds me, I have an essay to do. Well, the beauty of procrastination, am I right? So anyway, what has gone on with the Raiders? The draft and OTAs have happened. I like the draft. I can't say, Cleveland Farrell is obviously going to be the best end, or Josh Jacobs is going to lead the league in rushing yards. We have to wait and see until they play the first game of the season. You can't crown them yet. What if what's this guy? 7th round pick. I can't remember his name. What if he becomes the elite superstar, not Cleveland Farrell? So you just gotta wait and see. Don't count him yet. So I like it, but you know what? I like even more. Derek Carr was like, "This is my team, and I'm staying." Damn right it is your team. So I don't want to hear no more Derek Carr haters. Sound like a broken record right now, but Derek Carr's my quarterback. And he wants to play for the team, unlike some Armani Exchange Cooper in '89, who's now 19, who is still trying to get his contract with the Cowboys. So dodge a bullet there.
Go
but anyway,
figure.
just wanted to call in, see how you guys are doing. I'm just doing homework right now. This mess is about to be over. So as always, go Raiders.
Stay in school, kids. Good job, Brandon. Good job, Beto. Appreciate the phone call, as always. And so the Raiders, we're on Monday Night Football against the Broncos. Duh, I knew that. So we are going to open up the season this year against the Donks, and it will be a late game. It's a 9:20 start time. I know, it's crazy. So, all right, great job, Beto. Appreciate the phone call. Keep them coming. And next up, Uncle Mosh, we're going to hear from our buddy Mojo in San Diego.
Murph, Mosh, Mojo from San Diego, where it never rains. Funny story. It's raining. Driving down the highway, I was going to carve some information in my dashboard. Anyway, I'm
baby.
Calling you on my hands-free device here because I almost lost my mind. Some dude in the truck was tailgating me, kind of making his hand signals and acting like a fool. So I thought I was going to have to maybe get into a scrap, man. I didn't know what was going on. I got the boys in the truck with me. We're coming home from school and work. Well, then the guy gets around me, and I look, and guess what he's got? He's got a Kansas City Queef sticker on the back of his truck. So I'm pretty sure he saw my nation sticker and wanted to start some crap with me. Cooler heads prevailed. I didn't, because it was raining, I didn't get too crazy on the highway there and act like a fool and jeopardize or, get a chance getting into a wreck or anything like that. I did high beam him, for a solid, 4 miles. And he knew I was behind him. But just made me want to call you guys. I haven't called in a while. Great off season. Looking forward to the season. I think we're going to make our way up to the Cincinnati Bengals game in Oakland this year. It'll be the boys' first and last trip to the Coliseum. Just win, baby.
All right, awesome job.
We need to change his name to High Beam Mojo.
High Beam Mojo. So Mojo is a leader in the world's greatest Navy and probably could have killed whoever that was with a finger.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So probably a good thing you didn't stop there.
Yeah.
Glad cooler heads prevail. But isn't that fun?
He might have got to know Q Dog real well.
Yeah. Oh man, great call, Mojo. Man, good hearing from you, my friend, and keep them coming for sure. All right, Uncle Mosh. So you got virtual Jeff, and now we got
Uncle Mosh. You're the smartest man alive.
Oh my gosh, you're killing me. Let's hear from him. He called in.
Murph, Mosh, Sam Jeff, or should I say, Swag Jeff? I'm digging the name. I love it. I started listening to 129, and in the first 10 minutes, I owed Mosh $100. So I wasn't sure what my new nickname was going to be because I had actually texted Murph before the show, hey, what's my new name going to be? And he said, well, listen to the show and you'll find out. So I was afraid it was going to be like Mooch Jeff or something like that, or something like that. But no, I'm digging it. And, I did have to buy a shirt. I tried to get a free shirt, but it didn't happen. I'm glad to support Biletnikoff, but this is the second time I'm calling. So even though I already purchased the shirt, I'm going to get a free damn shirt. So I'm going to call back again. Go Raiders.
He doesn't know how it works, Mosh. You don't get a free shirt for becoming a made man.
Let me explain this to you.
Explain it to him.
Jeff. You don't get a free shirt for being a made man because being a made man is worth a whole lot more.
Way more than a shirt.
My brother. Plus, you are on staff.
Yeah, we just started a new show.
We started a new show, dude. You're on staff. You're like Q Dog. You're like the Capo. You're like Ron, the Maidinator. You're like Paul.
Like Paul.
Paul's
30 seconds of Paul.
30 seconds of
If
Paul.
we weren't short on time, I'd play it right now.
Paul's got a title. He is this. He's a Sizzler monitor.
He's a Sizzler monitor.
You know, I mean,
Yeah.
people that dude. It's like when the radio station has a contest. Friends and family of the radio station.
There you go. Exactly. Yeah.
Cannot win. So keep calling, Swag.
Keep calling one more time, and you become a maid. No, you don't.
No, you don't.
No,
you
don't
just
become anything.
one more time, and people will say, maybe Mooch Jeff was a good name.
Yeah. All right, next
Uncle
up.
Mosh, you're the smartest man alive.
Yeah, there
you go. All right, here we go. Next up, we're going to hear from our buddy, Raider Roo.
Hey, what's up, Murph? What's up, Uncle Mosh? What's up, Raider Nation? This is Raider Roo from Logan, Utah. Mostly just haven't called in a while, so I wanted to call and say thank you guys for all your coverage during the draft, and Murph, you getting out there and taking some of those videos for us with them setting the stage up and stuff. That was all pretty cool to see. So I appreciate all the work you guys are putting in there for us to get out, give us all this great content to Raider Nation. So I want to say a big thank you to you guys. I appreciate it a lot. And I personally was one of the few that wasn't really bummed out with the Furl pick there, number 4, myself. I know Monster Mash Ken also was pretty excited, but I think him and I were both also kind of excited because we didn't have to worry about it being one of those quarterbacks anymore. And that was one of the reasons I was excited, but I didn't really expect it either anyways, honestly. But I liked Furl. He was my first choice for us originally when the whole process started. So when he was the net pick, I was like, oh, a little surprised that because it was early just based off of all the talking heads and draft analyst guys thinking he'd go later. But I think he's a great fit, so I was happy with it. Night against the Donkeys, and also be joining you guys out there in East Rutherford, out there to watch the Raiders play the Jets in November. My son and I just booked our flight and hotel, so I'll be seeing you guys out there as well. I'm looking forward to meeting as many people as possible, and I'm just excited to see this new group of Raiders we got play. So I appreciate the work again, and keep it up, guys. You're doing an excellent job. Really appreciate it. All right, go Raiders.
All right, great job, Raider Roo. Appreciate the call, appreciate the love. And, man, you got some cool plans for this year. Sounds like going to games, going to the Monday night opener, and then also going to New York. Mosh, we've talked a lot about that New York game, and you're even rocking the New Jersey chapter of the Black Hole shirt tonight. And that's one of the games that we really, really wanted to go to with the Biletnikoff Foundation stuff going on in the first part of the month. I don't know if we're going to be able to make it or not. If all the planets align, we'll be able to go, but we're not. We're a little more iffy than we were in the past.
It's the way that everything's working out. It's up in the air right now.
It's up in the air.
It's up in the air. We're not going to say definitely yay or nay, but it is up in the air. And if it doesn't work out, hey, there's always a weekend junket to Atlantic City. So
absolutely, it's not like we're not going to come to Jersey. We just may be joining you at the Irish Cottage Inn instead of MetLife Stadium.
So we might have to have lasagna at the Irish Cottage Inn. So
there you go. There you go. All right. Hey, so real quick in the chat, we were talking about that Jeff getting a free shirt and some folks asking about getting a free shirt. I'll tell you what we are going to do. I do want to do a shirt giveaway, but we're going to do a T-shirt video to put up on YouTube, and you'll have to like it, subscribe to our channel, and comment. And if you do those 3 things, we're going to pick people at random and give away free T-shirts. I didn't even talk to you about that yet. That was an idea that I had. And so we're going to do that. You're going to have a chance to win a free Get Made Raiders Fan Radio T-shirt. Stay tuned on that.
And that's going to come after we sell off enough to get to our projected amount that we want to donate.
Yes.
And then with the extra stuff, because we don't need the money, we don't want the money. But we will give some of that out to to people.
Absolutely. And then one last thing too, going back on Swag Jeff. I said I was going to talk about it, and I kind of missed it. What we did on that Ben Davidson topic, what I did there with the video clip, with the audio clip, and kind of talked about his lasting impact and all that. That's the premise of Tales from the Nation, the new show that I'm doing with Swag Jeff. That's kind of the idea. We're going to take one topic. We're going to take one moment, one tale from Raider Nation, and we're going to expand on it. It'll be about 15, 20 minutes. It won't be they're not long episodes, and they're going to be what we call evergreen content. It's not going to be topical as far as what happens today.
No.
It's going to be so you don't have to listen to them in any particular order, any particular time. The first episode that we did yesterday was on the Heidi game. So if you want to know about the Heidi game, you want to know about that tale in Raider Nation, you can click into that show. It will be on the Murph's Fan Cave feed, and you can hear about the Heidi game. Jeff will have some stuff out there on our social media as far as submissions. So whatever you want us to do a show on, that's and you know, it could be the Tuck Rule, it could be winning a Super Bowl, it could be the Holy Roller, it could be whatever. But those tales from Raider Nation, that's the idea about the show, and they're just going to be little quick hits. Like I said, like 15, 20 minutes, one topic, and it was fun, man. We had a really good time doing the Heidi game, so you can expect to see that on your Murph's Fan Cave feed. All right, next up, let's hear from our buddy Alex in Tucson.
Uncle Mosh, Murph, this is your boy Alex Sandoval from Tucson, Arizona. Just calling in today, man, just to talk about the Raiders. It's been a while since I called, but I'm super excited for this upcoming year, man. Like, it's gonna be I think it's going to be much improved. I think it's going to be really, really good. I think the way we get going is step one, you know, Carr and Gruden have to get on the same page with each other. I think they are. I think they'll be good at executing plays and communicating with each other. And in the box, we have Josh Jacobs and Doug Martin. You know, so we're going to have, I think, a really good passing attack and a really good running attack to complement it. I'm super excited though, man. I think it's going to be a really, really good year. I think defense is much improved. I hope you're okay with me giving out a shout out to Silver and Black Films Presents. That's a channel on YouTube. They have really, really cool videos.
We're okay with it, bud. We're just going to call us back.
2019. Have playmaking ability. So, yeah, man, I'm just really excited for the season. Hope you guys are doing good and can't wait to hear the show. Thanks. Have a good one. Bye.
All right, appreciate the phone call, Alex. Yeah, call us back. You kind of broke up there. I wasn't sure
what it was.
Something about Silver and Black Promotions, maybe something on a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
definitely. We are fans of fandom and all the stuff, all the fan created content, and we don't shy away from any of that stuff. So we'll be glad to help you promote it. And speaking of that, of helping people promote things. So here on Raiders Fan Radio last year, we did a tagline contest, and the winner of that tagline contest was Emiliano. We call him the Big Raider Trucker, and he won with the tagline, "What happens in Vegas started in Oakland," and it launched a T-shirt empire, speaking of T-shirts, and which has now spawned a website, and so he called in to tell us about it.
What's going on, Raider Nation? The man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Big Raider Trucker, your Sergeant of Arms. Just want to say, what's going on, fellas? Miss you. I know it's been a long time. Been going MIA. Let's just say Raider Jeff has me running around. My goodness. Okay, I know I got 3 minutes, so check this out. 1, BigRaiderTrucker.com. That's all I'm going to say. Check it out. Got all your Raider stuff you need. Please, please, please go support. I appreciate it. Also, my goodness, just got the news. We signed Richie Incognito, Murph. And Uncle Moss, I know you guys are longtime Raider fans just like myself. I'm going to need the back history of how it was back in the old school days with some of these badass motherfuckers roaming the field, because are we kind of getting that same glimpse with AB, Gruden, Burfict, and Incognito? I think it's the writing's on the wall. I think Hard Knocks is all ours. Once again, guys, BigRaiderTrucker.com. Really miss you guys. More things to come. And, yeah, just wanted to check in. Oh, yeah, also, we need to start a GoFundMe for, one Mr. Suffer Cat himself, Colin Cowherd. He needs a bib. He's drooling everywhere on the show. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Late.
He's the man. Good job, Emiliano. Good to hear from him, huh? The Sergeant at Arms, we call him.
Absolutely. Hell yeah.
Good stuff, man. Go get a shirt. Those shirts are cool. So Emiliano, we actually have a video. Speaking of videos about T-shirts, he sent us a couple of those before he ever even started selling them. He just had a couple of shirts made up and sent Mosh and I a couple of them, and they're super cool, man. The logo is great. What happens in Vegas started in Oakland. We still close out our show with that tagline.
And other people have picked up on that. We noticed some of that. We should have had him trademark it. If he hasn't, he probably needs to.
I think he's working. I think that's the stuff he's doing with Jeff. Jeff, formerly of DeadPirateSports.com. He's the one that's kind of helping Emiliano with doing his website. And it's more than just that shirt. Like, he's got trucking gear, and this is all him. This is not anything that we've done in partner with him. We're just supporting him because he's been a big supporter of ours over the years, and so we definitely want to return the favor. So go check out BigRaiderTrucker.com. All right, next up, newly made man, Raider Juan.
Yeah, how you doing? This is Raider Juan from Guadalupe, California. Thank you for Uncle Mosh and Murph making me a meat man last week. You know, I'm doing a lot better. Hopefully you can understand me better. The day I called, I was doing really, really bad, so I had to go get shots for like 5 straight days, so so I could breathe better. And I just wanted to now call you guys and thank you for all the Raider Nation for putting up with me. And you were asking about a game, that I've gone. I went to the Raiders game in L.A. when they were the L.A. Raiders when Mike Shanahan got fired. And we were winning the game, and all of a sudden, all we had to do is run off the clock. And Mike Shanahan calls three straight passes, and so we had to kick the ball. And you know what happened? I think it was Kansas City. They go in out there and score the point to win the game. And so we were booing like really, really loud. Everybody in the stadium was booing. And you could see in the camera they show Al Davis, and he just put his head down, shaking his head. And 2 days later, he wasn't the coach of the LA Raiders anymore. So that's the one I can remember. And well, thank you, everything. Hopefully, I sound better this time. I feel better. And I'm very proud of being a mate man. And thank you very much. Go Raiders.
Absolutely, Raider Juan. Welcome to the family. Welcome to the Raiders Fan Radio family, and congratulations on becoming a made man. Glad to hear the praise report there that you're feeling a lot better, and glad to. And yes, to answer your question, you sound great, and you sounded great before. Keep calling the show, and I love that memory of being at the open. Talk about moments that changed the team, that changed the team, right? That was pretty good stuff there. So good memory from Raider Juan. So Aaron in the chat, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider asked about seeing Little Murph, and so there you go, buddy. There's Little Murph. There's the man that created by Monster Mash Ken.
And next up,
I'm just we're doing requests now.
We're also on radio.
Okay. Oh yeah, that doesn't work for radio. All right, let's hear from our buddy Ruben in Vegas.
Hey Murph, Uncle Mosh, Ruben from Vegas. Just calling to check in. I know it's been a minute, living life and whatnot, but I just want to thank you guys for the shirt, the gift pack. I received it the other day. Love the shirt, love the book especially. Just finished chapter 1. Kind of crazy with Mr. Davis, the Godfather, Al Davis. Rest in peace. How he liked his burgers and whatnot, and certain things about it. Pretty funny stories on that book. But anyways, just want to check in, guys. I know it's been a minute, just living life, and I just saw we signed Richard Incognito today, and let's see if it works out, man. We got to have faith in Gruden, and just stoked up for the season to come up. One game at a time, win, lose, or tie. Raiders till I die.
Awesome. Good job there, Ruben. Appreciate the phone call. And Ruben gave us that sign that's behind Uncle Mosh over there, the Welcome to Vegas sign. And so that thing is very cool. And so as a return of the favor, we sent him the Al Davis book, and we sent him a Raiders Fan Radio t-shirt. And so
sharing the wealth, baby. Sharing the wealth.
And the coolest thing is that he sent us back then a picture of him wearing our shirt in front of the new Vegas Stadium. Which is really, really awesome. So appreciate that, Ruben. Okay, next up, we got 2 more. Uncle Mosh, I got an extra one there to add in off the rundown. One, and we're going to hear from our buddy Historian Steve.
Hey, Murph Mosh, this is Houston Raider Steve. Just want to get your opinion about Richie Incognito. Could this be another Barrett Robbins redo? Anyway, I was listening to Mikey do his thing from last night, and he says that Mike Mayock and the Raiders have stipulation that if he messes up, gets in trouble, then they could he's no longer on the team. Just want to get your thoughts on it. Great show, and I'm pumped up about all these acquisitions we're doing. Haven't been this excited since the Super Bowl run with Gannon in 2002. Great show, and have a great day, and God bless.
All right, thank you, Historian Steve. And we kind of touched on Incognito a little bit, but it would make sense that Gruden would have a stipulation on him like that, right?
There's always stuff in the contracts that we don't know about, that the casual fan doesn't know about, even the obsessed fan doesn't know about. There's, I'm sure it's there. I'm sure it's there in a lot of people's contracts,
Absolutely. Probably just common verbiage, frankly. Because, they're like they call it conduct detrimental to the team and all that stuff. Sure. I'm sure there's stuff in there. And if they had to put in extra for somebody like that who's had a history of run-ins, then absolutely. So, players with questionable actions at times are not new to NFL teams.
So
right?
I do want to comment on historian, didn't get into the weeds this week.
Kept it quick.
But brought up Barrett Robbins.
That was an interesting comment there.
Q caught it. Q said he changed the Raiders.
Oh, absolutely.
Talking about from our earlier subject, But
Going.
so even though the historian doesn't go into the weeds, he throws that little tidbit
Just
out there.
Cast it out there, didn't he?
Yeah. Oh man, I
That's
love
good.
that.
That's
guy.
good. Yeah,
I love that.
Historian
Guy.
Steve is great. He joined the guys on the fan club Blitz. He's actually done some stuff with Raider Homer now as well.
Wow.
He's getting out there a little bit, and great for him because he's a wealth of knowledge. That's why we changed his name to
Absolutely.
Historian Steve from Houston Steve. So great job. And yeah, Barrett Robbins, going, unfortunately bipolar and splitting on the team, going to
Sure.
Tijuana the night before the Super Bowl. Like, yeah, that was definitely a big deal. So definitely changed the outlook in the history of the team. All right, next up, and actually last up here in the Sea of Fans mailbag, we're going to hear from our buddy Mike in Colorado, who is hardcore Raider.
Murph, Uncle Mosh, this is Made Man, Hardcore Raider. How you guys doing? Calling out of Donkeyville where we get snow in the middle of May. That was snow last week. That was pretty crazy. But, yeah, I just want to say what's up, guys. And, today is May 29th, and I know you're big on numbers, so I was curious if you ever watch Derek Carr's YouTube channel. And he did a Mother's Day special with his wife, and somebody asked him about Mac, and he said that him and Mac might end up fighting on the 50-yard line when they play each other. So today is May 29th, and it's episode 130, and we have 130 days until Carr knocks out the Mac cheeseburger. So
Isn't that
I think
good?
that's pretty cool. 130 days till we play the Bears.
Wow.
But anyways, I know you're a big Star Wars fan, and I'm calling 2019 the year of redemption. So got some interesting information for you on some titles here. Let me know what your favorite one is that fits the Raiders this year. Raiders: A New Hope. The Raiders Strikes Back. The Raiders Strike Back. Return of the Raiders. Revenge of the Raiders. The Raiders Awaken. The Last Raider. The Rise of the Raiders. So I thought all those were pretty cool. Tell me what you think about those.
I hate Star Wars, but I like that.
That was cool.
Uncle Mosh, I'm not a big Star Wars fan either, but if you wore a Star Wars character, there's no doubt you would be Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Aww.
And Murph, you would be 3PO because you love them numbers. All right, love you guys, man.
Hey.
Hardcore Raider out.
At least he didn't call me Jabba the Hutt.
Sir, the possibility of successfully navigating an asteroid field is approximately 3,720 to 1.
Never tell me the odds.
That was awesome.
Oh, man. It's a great call there from Hardcore Raider, man. I love it. My vote would be the Rise of the Raiders because I think, look, we're down last year, 4-12, and we're coming back, baby.
No,
we're
I'm
coming
going
back.
with the number one, A New Hope.
A New Hope? But who is the New Hope?
We
Mayock?
We are the
Mayock.
New Hope.
Mayock.
No, sorry, the Raiders are the New
Raiders
Hope.
are the New Hope. I like it. That's good, man.
All right, so let me wrap this up.
Wrap it up.
See you fans. All right, so we kicked it off about 2 hours ago with with Ray saying, "Hey, people don't watch football." And he was talking about all the craziness. People, what do they see? And Seaport Raider was talking about the flip flop of fans, and we had our historian quoting Mikey, bringing up Barrett Robbins. Charlie was chimed in about how much late games suck. And of course we can't forget Beto. Beto, do your homework. Okay, Swag Jeff. I'm sorry, Mooch Jeff trying to beg off. Holy moly. And Raider Roo, who lives in Logan, Utah, where I lived at one time when I was at Hill Air Force Base there.
Oh,
but
nice.
anyway, he was excited about the pick. Alex in Tucson. He broke up a little bit in the middle, so we didn't quite get all his stuff. Big Raider Trucker, man, launched his website. I'll fire it up for him. Checked in from the road. Raider 1, man, I'm so glad to hear you sounding so much better. That was awesome. Keep those calls coming, brother. Let's see. Oh, Ruben in Vegas. He's got faith in the coach. And, of course, that last one about Star Wars. And I know that was your all-time favorite.
Oh, yeah.
But our Sizzler, and I believe he's won before. That'll have to come from Paul.
Okay.
But anybody that's willing to has to consider, it's raining, I got the kids in the truck. Do I defend the nation and stop and put a whooping on a Kansas City queef, to quote him, and then says, nah, I'll just ride him for the next 4 miles. The Sizzler Award has to go to High Beam Mojo.
Sizzler.
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 Sizzler. Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Sizzler.
Great job, Mojo, man. That's funny. That is too good. And great job, Uncle Mosh, there on the Sizzler and on the rundown. I appreciate all the calls. Sorry, I know we kind of crushed through some of them. We got a little windy earlier talking about Cinnamon Toast Crunch and a handful of other things, but we had a lot to get to. There's a lot of Raider news, man. There's a lot of stuff to talk to still every week, but we appreciate all of you, and keep them coming, and we will definitely it's still the favorite part of our show. And again, I apologize we cut it short, but keep them coming nonetheless.
Yeah. Wait.
It's your turn.
Yeah. You know what I forgot to do?
The
I
Rogues
forgot
Gallery.
to do that right there.
We are Metallica, and we are here for your Oakland Raiders!
You know why we out here, and we ain't playing around today.
From The Walking Dead to errant Jedi Knights, Raiders fans are a rogues gallery.
So, Murph.
Yes, sir.
Because our made men come from our calls, and we have been asked, who are the made men?
Yeah, for a rundown. You got a rundown for us?
I got a new list.
All right.
All right. In no specific order, Jimmy Zebach, Hardcore Raider, Johnny in San Diego, Chuck Splatterhead McCann, Ron in Alliance, Ohio, Alaska Raider, the Dakota Raider, Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Red in Yakima, Jim from the East Coast, yo, sorry, in Jersey, Big Raider Trucker, Wyoming Raider, Diego in Georgia, Running Bear in Tulare, Mojo Raider, Junior in San Diego, Beto, you know the city, James in Arkansas, Monster Mash Ken, Raider Roo in Utah, Ev-Dog, Houston Raider Steve, Jesse in Kentucky, B-Dog in a pasture in Texas, recent high school graduate, good job, Max in San Diego, Rev Raider, Raider 1, Eye Patch, Alex in Tucson, Ruben in Vegas, Dave in the 330, Kevin the Raider Nerd, Paul in Shropshire, Mississippi, UK, 24-karat Kev, the cool-ass Raider.
Made men, what is up? What is that, like 35
I
or
don't
something
know.
like
I
that?
didn't
30
count.
some odd made men out there, so we appreciate it. Still waiting for that made woman, Haley, Andrea. We've had a few calls, and a few emails, but never 3. So get those in, and I think Q-Dog always calls for it, like, when are we going to get a Mistress of Darkness? I don't know. Well, soon, hopefully. So we'll get them in. I know Haley is often joining us in the chat, so we'd love to hear from you. Shoot us an email or shoot us a voicemail, 909-345-3346. All right, Mosh, you want to hit that outro button? You got anything else major that we want to get into here? We were going to do Raiders and pop culture, but
Let's
cut
do
that.
We'll do it again. We'll do it next time.
Yeah, we'll do it next time. We'll cut that for tonight. But outside of that, that's all we got. We will check us out on the Murph's Fan Cave feed. Go ahead and hit that outro button there, Mosh, and definitely check out the Murph's Fan Cave feed, and you'll find our new show, Tales from the Nation, to go along with Mondays with Mikey and Murph, the Fan Club Blitz, and of course this show, Raiders Fan Radio. Appreciate everybody that's joined us tonight. Appreciate everybody on the audio and also in the chat on YouTube. Aaron the Q-Dog Raider, Freddie Chavez, the Big Easy, Carlos Silos, Hardcore Raider, Fabricator, On Air Nation. What's up, Mikey? See you soon for Mondays with Mikey and Murph. Wyoming Raider is in there. Haley, as I mentioned, appreciate everyone joining us there. You guys rock. We love you so much. Thank you for supporting Raiders Fan Radio. Buy a t-shirt. Support the Biletnikoff Foundation. And, man, keep those phone calls and emails coming. And we'll talk to you guys here in just a couple of weeks.
All right. So thanks for listening tonight, everybody. We appreciate you. And this is...
What's your name again?
This is your old uncle. I'm reading it, and I can't even read my own name. This is your old Uncle Mosh. And for Murph, your old Uncle Mosh here. And this is Murph and Uncle Mosh. Yeah.
Wait,
anyway.
who? What about Swag Jeff? Does he get in on that?
Oh, yeah. Hey, so for Swag Jeff and the Capo and Dead Scrolls Steve, Mini Murph, Sizzling Scorekeeper, Big Raider Trucker, the Sergeant at Arms, we're all here. You've been listening to Raiders Fan Radio, where we take a lighter side journey into the dark side. Now on to some Captain Crunch.
Uncle Mosh, I can't hear myself think. Keep it down, fool.
Uncle Mosh, you're the smartest man alive.